Traders, friends, family, fans, followers from around the world, what is going on, everybody? My boy Andrew Hall in the building. Arabia Johnson is here. Eric Chartland is here. My friend Marion, who's just a programming animals in the building. Ricky Cadan, Diane, Michael says it's 18 degrees in Baltimore. That's brutal. It's actually not too bad right now in Nashville, Tennessee. Thomas says it's a fantastic Friday. Morning, dude. Good morning, buddy. Jason says, what it do, baby boo? Joanne says, great jobs report. Good morning, money. Yeah, good morning, buddy. David says, Ricky's in the house. Yeah, man, he's up. I guess he stayed up and wanted to hang out with us. Still late, very late over there in Australia, but appreciate you being here, Rick. Derek Washington, it's early where Derek is. Derek's in Hawaii. So we got Hawaii, we got Australia. Can't miss option expiration Friday. I can respect that. Got Pablo's in Spain. Man. Vincent said when the going gets tough, the tough get going. That's right. Clive says it's official. Want to be the first to enlist this morning ahead of the rush. Send my email to Ashley to get my real life trading boarding pass. Oh, yeah. Clive jumping on the boat. Here's my goal. I came up with a goal last night. Now, I'm going to send out an email in just a few minutes. I'm going to multitask over here and send out an email about the new challenge for February. So feel free, everyone, to stay tuned for that. But here's my goal. I want us to make $189 today. That's my goal. Now, for some of you, if you have a smaller account, it might be a little bit more of a challenge, and that's okay. I can appreciate that. I can understand that. But you can also virtual trade. You could paper trade. You could just see how the process works. But that is my goal, $189 today, at least, minimum. I got my boy Blake Anderson coming on the microphone at noon Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to upgrade my buddy Brad to co-host so he can see all of your gorgeous questions and answers as well. I'm sure Joe will be on a little bit later today. And then most likely Dennis will probably be here at some point today as well. So it's going to be a great opportunity. Vincent says, can we do it with you guys? Sure, you can do it with you guys. I will pop over to you guys really quick. You guys is an ETF that people love trading. And I know a good buddy of mine, Peyton, who lives here in Nashville, Tennessee, this is all he trades is you guys and D guys. This is it. So you have to go long you guys, or if you're going bullish, and if you're going to go trying to short it, you have to go long D guys. But just looking at UGAZ, I mean, I would look to buy a dip. There's a little bit of support, pre-market support. This is the 5-minute chart. Buy low, sell high. That is it. Vincent said, what's his name? His name is Peyton Perry here in Nashville, Tennessee. He just tries to make an R a day on you guys. That's it. That's all he trades. But again, market rewards a specialist. You want to trade you guys, D guys every day? Go for it. There are so many opportunities out there, so many trades. It's incredible. Tons of opportunity. Seth says, good morning. I've been very interested in seeing an options intraday trade as well. Work your magic, Jeremy. Brad did a really good one on the Qs. I believe it was Wednesday he set that trade up. But yeah, today is option expiration Friday. So let's go look for some gaps, shall we? Here's ticker symbol CI. Signo, socially gapping down a little bit. Still kind of is gapping down some. It's down to 193.50. And that is clearing 3 days of bullish candles. So you got this bullish candle here. bullish candle here, bullish candle here. It's gapping below all three of those. It's okay. Nothing great. I'll put it on the list. We will see. Find out what happens. Thomas says CY is his favorite. Cypress Semiconductors, wonderful gap. I agree. That should be a good reason that's your favorite gap. That is very pretty. And Cypress, I do think, has decent options as well. Even though it is a little bit of an inexpensive stock, not super pricey. This one is one, yep, has decent options. Singular strikes. You have to buy February, but that's okay. But anyway, Cypress, if you're looking at a 5-minute chart, this is a pre-market chart. You can see kind of that support resistance lines right here. So support line, resistance line, and kind of similar to AMD the other day. You know, right now it's right in the middle. So you're either looking for it to pull back to that support and bounce, or break out, retest and bounce, one of those. My buddy Vladimir says he bets that Sigma is going to fade, most likely. Very blue chip stock, gapping down. Here's ExxonMobil. Jason wants to look at Exxon, and Exxon is gapping up a little bit today. 74.66. I love this gap as well. It is a retest gap, and it's a pretty decent gap for Exxon, but you do have an upper shadow from yesterday, which means someone shorted somewhere. And we're gapping above this candle. We're gapping above some of this resistance. Here's the 5-minute chart on Exxon, and I do like those really nice, cute candles. Exxon also not a horrible candidate for options. It does have weekly options, and they're not super pricey either. So we could be keeping a real close eye on that one and find out and determine what Exxon does. So right now, I'm not even looking at gaps. I'm not even searching for them. They're just, people are throwing them in the chat pane for me. Making it easy. Constellation Brands, STZ. This is one that my buddy Blake played right on this day, and it was a good day trade. It looks like that thing has just been continuing very nicely. Good gap on Constellation Brands, nice move. It does have a shaved top candle, almost perfect shaved top candle from yesterday. Super small gap up. You have a bunch of white candles in a row. I will write Constellations down on another list, but I'm not blown away by that particular gap. It's not bad. It most likely will fade a lot, so I'm just going to keep an eye on it. STZ. ABBV is one that we looked at yesterday afternoon that I want to pull up, and it does not seem like it's going to gap down. So ABBV was gapping down like 4%. Now it's gapping down only 0.81. I don't really think that's necessary to look at. CVS was also one that was gapping down last night and still is. So this thing is gapping down. Again, it could fade up. We will see. Kind of hoping it does. I'm sure the option premium will kind of dry up and most likely get stopped out on this one at open, depending on how it opens. CVS also, I'm just going to write it down on another list. It doesn't look sensationally splendid. It's okay. Not a whole lot of people trapped. Obviously, going to look at Amazon in just a little bit when everyone kind of gets here. But yeah, right now, you are all just throwing in gaps into the chat pane. I love it. This is great. DECK, D-E-C-K. Deckers Outdoors. It is indeed gapping up 138.25. This is a pretty good gap. Nice. I think it's an all-time high on Deckers Outdoors. Yep. All-time high, and it's gapping up above this resistance line. Here is the daily chart. So it just kind of depends on how you draw it, but I would like to see this thing pull back and be a dip buying opportunity. I think that's very, very possible. Not saying it will happen, but that would just be kind of the expected move. It'll get pretty close into here somewhere. You would want to put a stop most likely below these pivots around 132 and just look to buy a dip on Deckers Outdoors. If it doesn't dip, which it doesn't, it looks like it very well might not, then we'll just see if we can take that one long. But that is a nice gap, right above all-time high. I do like it, Graham. Good find. Here's Facebook. Facebook is actually opening up a little bit. I think it's going to just hang out. Decent upper shadow on Facebook yesterday. We figured that would happen to some degree. Watched it a little bit yesterday for Faye. Didn't really get a shot at it. Missed a little bit of a bullish move. I'm okay with that. We'll see what Facebook does. I'm sure we'll come back to Facebook at some point later today. But as far as a day trade, if it was gapping down below the low of yesterday, I'm all on it. But right now, it's going to wait. August says, I bought MRK calls before the close of yesterday. American company, beautiful. Well, congratulations, because it is up. It's gapping up to 76.35. It's kind of right at a little bit of a resistance, but it looks pretty. I can put that on the list. MRK. Mr. Robert Falco says Honeywell is gapping right into a resistance. Let's go look at Honeywell International. Honeywell gapping up small. I say small, I mean 2%, but it's a decent gap on the chart. Wow, that's a nice gap. Honeywell, looks like that'll probably fade a little bit, but I like that gap on Honeywell. Look at that high wave candle on a 5-minute chart too. Something about that chart speaks to me a little bit. So again, you're all just throwing out gaps in the chat pane, so I don't even have to do any research, making my job real easy. Yum China gapping up 37.69. Decent gap on Yum China. I like it. Definitely lift worthy. Okay, perfect. Corey says TBLT. Is it trapping some shorts? TBLT. Daily chart, Tough Built Industries, yes. That is trapping a lot of shorts. Or also just anyone who kind of sold a little bit of a lesser inexpensive stock. But if I can find a good entry on this one, I'll play it. I'm not scared. It's up 34%, but these cheaper stocks like this, they can fly, man. You can get some good movement. I very rarely trade those, but looking at this chart, it looks tradable. It doesn't look like one of those just absolutely horrible movers. I could dig that. Yeah, let's keep an eye on TBLT. Brian Leister says Chevron, CVX. Let me see if Chevron's a good gap. I know ExxonMobil is gapping up. Chevron also a pretty nice gap. I won't play both Chevron and ExxonMobil because for obvious reasons, I think. But I do like the gap on Chevron. It does look nice. We'll throw it on there. We'll see what happens. Mr. Rick Merrick says Z-Links is gapping down. XLNX. XLNX gapping down. Very small volume. It's not clearing the lows. I don't believe the low of yesterday was 111.11 exactly. Yeah, I mean, you did kind of an inside day candle yesterday. I'd just really be interested to see exactly where that opens on such low volume. It could be fade worthy. I'm not going to deny that. This is the 15-minute chart. Yeah, I can throw it on the list. I will watch it for about 10 minutes. If it looks okay, great. If not, I'll probably be the first one that goes off the list. All right, I'm not going to add many more. This seems like the busiest day yet for gaps. I got about 400 in the chat pane right now. So we're not going to be able to look at all of those, guys. I'm sorry. Symantec, SYMC is gapping up to 2254. Not a bad gap, up 7.5%. Kind of looks fade worthy. It is gapping, no question about that. It is gapping to a little bit of a resistance. I'll put it on the list. Maybe we fade it, maybe we trade it bullish. I will set up my gap list from best to worst in just a moment. CAH, Cardinal Health, gapping down, very small gap, not clearing any pivots. I will write that one down on my other list right over here. CAH, but not gapping down enough to excite me. HEXO. Andrew, by the way, glad you're in this one bullish. I remember you bought off the 100, bought the dip like a pro. Yeah, pre-market's not that bad. See on the daily chart, have a little bit of a decent run, some good volume. I don't think I'm gonna day trade that one personally. I don't know if it's gonna fade or just keep running, but I'll just say, hey man, high five, congrats. If it's opening at your 2R mark, what, you're probably gonna dump 3 million shares, Andrew, so it'll probably just sell off. Will do. So yes, I will. We'll celebrate if I hit your 2Rs and kind of go from there. Okay. Let me see ZUO, and then we're going to go look at Amazon because most of the people who are going to be here on time are here. So ZUO is gapping down to 2080. It's not bad. I actually really wanted ZUO to gap up on earnings. I mean, not that it really matters what I think, but that is kind of a cute gap actually. It'll probably be a little difficult to short, but I do think it's list worthy. I'll keep an eye on the 2 with the 100 simple on the daily. It probably will just open up, flash right into that, and then trade sideways a little bit. We will see. But I do like that gap. I think the last time I played ZUO was over here on the 31st of August. But I can't remember exactly. Anyway, that's ZUO. All right, let's go check out Amazon. Yeah, everyone talking Amazon. Let's go look at it. And Amazon is down. So my analysis yesterday afternoon was pretty much Amazon will bounce around and chop around most of the day. For my option sellers, I actually probably will look at some credit spreads on Amazon today, see if we can get some short-term spreads or something that might work out for us. And I mean, just looking at Amazon, down 4.5%, it could slowly peel lower. It is a gap and go on Amazon. Some people are trapped, but it's really not super bearish. Saying that, I mean, could Amazon just drag the whole market down? It's possible. I'll obviously put it on the list. We will watch it, but I don't see anything that I'm absolutely in love with directionally right now. All right. So realistically, that's what I got on the list. Here's Target, TGT. Jonathan, I will put your comment to all panelists and attendees so everyone can see it. Otherwise, it's just me. Target, really tiny gap, but not bad. Let's see, the high of yesterday was what, 73.07? So we are gapping up. There's no real resistance in the way. Right now, the pre-market volume is pretty sparse. It's kind of like Z-Links. Let me just see how it opens. And maybe we'll keep an eye on it. Johnson says, sorry. Oh, dude, no, you don't have to apologize, man. No apology needed. I just want to make sure that other people can see you chatting, that's all. August says, best S&P since 1987. As far as January, yeah, it was a very, very strong January, which is impressive because January of last year was massively strong too. You all remember that. Last January of, I mean, it's incredible that we beat this January. Remember this? Just crushed. But yeah, we even had a bigger January than that. So incredible. And the SPY, I mean, we're more or less opening flat at the present moment. Here's the 5-minute chart on the SPY running into a little bit of resistance, getting, you know, we had a pop here and we're getting a little bit of a drawdown. We shall see. Okay. So as far as these gaps, let me go through and list them from best to worst. All right. I do like ExxonMobil. It's a nice gap, 70, just a nice clear area, nothing really up there. It is a retest gap, but I do like it. DEC is also actually, believe it or not that bad at all. Clearing all-time high. There's a lot of buying, but this is one of those that I can see tons of people saying, I'm going to short DEC, and then it just keeps running. I do actually like that gap. Let me remind myself what Honeywell looks like. Honeywell is not bad. I'd like a little bit of a dip on Honeywell and buy the dip, but I'm going to leave Honeywell on the list. I don't know if it's going to be the third best gap of the day, but we'll see. MRK is decent. It's not going to be number 4, though. 310 to Yuma, YUMC, 3771. I like that gap. TBLT, I don't very frequently trade the $3 gaps, like the smaller ones, but on a 2-3 minute chart, we might be able to pick something up, see if we can maybe just snag a nice, large stop and see if we can catch something cute. CY 1460, I think that's one of the best gaps of the day. Chevron is also really not bad, similar to ExxonMobil. Scoot TBLT up. Symantec, again, it's all right. ZUO, it's all right. I'll scoot up a little bit. Amazon certainly is interesting. These two, just going to see how they open. And then CI, again, gapping down, probably fades. We will see how it fades or if it fades. The 200 simple moving average on Sigma is down here. And it's going to be a wild little cookie for a few moments. David says, hey there, since the market's in a bullish trend, are you looking for gaps to play to the upside or not necessarily? Not necessarily, just looking for gaps. Usually, I like looking for something going the opposite direction of the market. Kind of like Illinois Toolworks, gapping down. So that's really what I like to look for, is something that's gapping entirely different than the market. Whatever the market's doing, if you have a stock that's doing something exactly the opposite, it normally frustrates traders. And then they will, react a certain way. I like this gap on Illinois Toolworks. That's very pretty. That's going to immediately go pretty high on the list. ITW, going to scoot it up. And I think this is how I'm going to have my list presently. It's a fun little gap. So again, gapping down about 2.7%, trapping some people, doing its thing, hanging out. All right. So we got 5 minutes until market open. Let me go look at just some of the other optionable stocks, since it is Friday, option expiration Friday. You can get some great deals. It's shopping time. This is what I drew on Apple the other day. And so far, it's working out pretty well. The target on Apple is 172, which is the 100 simple on a weekly chart. We will get there. I'm not saying they're going to get there today, but it will happen. And just right now hanging out, no real gap on Apple. Looks like it'll pull back and then dip by. Netflix, chilling. Nothing really specific on Netflix. We looked at Facebook earlier. Googs, the Goog machine gapped up today, made a nice little run, down just a little bit presently. The Qs, which is the ETF that tracks the NASDAQ, Qs was up big yesterday, and obviously because of Amazon, it's pulling down. It was a retest gap, so if it does retest, pulls back, buy the dip, makes tons of sense to me. And that is the Qs. So a little bit of a gap down. Could trap some people if it takes out the low of yesterday, short term. Let me go look at Square. And ticker symbol SQ is at 71.05. That's hanging out. And I got this covered call expiring today. I'll probably just hold on to it, maybe buy it back towards the very tail end of the day. Just kind of seeing what that's doing. Here's Tesla, TSLA, and it's down a little, 304. Kind of a nice gap on Tesla. So this is the 5-minute chart, and there is some interesting pre-market support right here. So I actually could put Tesla on the list because this is where I was talking about buying it yesterday. It was right here at 304. If it takes out that price, I think they could get a little bit of selling on Tesla, so I can put that on the list. I got Constellation Brands on another chart over here. It's all right. It's an okay gap. I'll keep an eye on it, see what it does. If we run out of things to look at, we will check it out. All right. Well done. Good stuff out there. Looking good, feeling good. Maybe not looking good. Ricky says push-ups, squats, calf raises. Done. It's going to be an easy day, February 1st. It's going to get harder as time goes on, but we're going to get stronger. It's going to be wonderful, and I love it. Thanks, Ricky. Crushing that. Again, COI, keep an eye on that one, and ExxonMobil. Again, I like this gap on ExxonMobil. It does look pretty. I'm not going to take it out open, but I'll wait for a minute or two and see if we can get like a dip buying opportunity. Probably a dip buy like around 74.31 would be nice. Market opens in 60 seconds. Deck, again, DECK, yeah, just kept on running. Snapdragons. Snuffleupagus. When this bearish candle came in right here, I was like, man, if that thing doesn't rotate down. So deck is probably going to be like whatever it was yesterday. Service now. It's just going to be crushing. Joel said, do you ever have orders out at open? I do. I did it on Square, whatever that day was, Tuesday. Yep. So if it's just a great gap, pre-market, everything looks perfect, I'll set up right at open. Very good question. Robert says, just let deck keep going. Could be a great fade later in the day. Yeah, it could be. I don't think I'm going to chase it. Could be a good fade at some point later, but it will, I mean, most likely, but I do think it's going to slowly continue higher. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. All right, so COI, I do like that opening candle. It's very nice. Let me just see how Z-Link's opened. All right, it's not a bad gap down. And Cigna, okay, looks all right on Cigna. And then Target, I'm just gonna take Target off the list. Too much greatness out there to worry about Target. And again, Tesla, I'm just saying if it breaks this support down, what we can also see, you probably will notice on Tesla, is like a pattern like this. You know, so that could kind of transpire into this little resistance. So if Tesla does pop out of here, that could be also a decent one for some call options or some shares. Tesla's a wild little monster. But Cypress Semiconductors. Okay. I mean, this is a super cute candle. There is some support resistance in the way. There we go. Okay. I don't think it's going to hold very long. So as that 1 minute candle was forming, I was like, well, I want to get in bullish above that candle. I didn't have the time. Would have had to get in pretty much with a market order. Because again, that 1 minute candle was forming, just that cute little resistance, and then it just popped out of there. Which is okay. I really did like it. If I waited for about 30 more seconds, we probably would have been in. So Cypress, again, 1507, I forget what target that is. It's 200 or something. Yeah, it's the 200. So it might just run up into there and pause, but that was a really good, fast setup on a 1 minute chart. You'd have to been real quick. Because as that candle was forming, yeah, Cypress, that was just a super quick move. 20 more seconds, man, I think we could have gotten it. Okay, ExxonMobil, also not bad. Realistically, not bad at all. Trying to determine where I would like to get in on this retest gap, and it is a retest gap. So if I turn the extended hours off, right? Most retest gaps, you want to wait for that 10 EMA on the 5 minute chart. So I'm going to give ExxonMobil a little bit of time. We don't have to take anything at open. I don't have to get right into a trade, but we can at least begin to watch it and keep a very close eye on ExxonMobil, because I do like the gap. It looks pretty. All righty, so DECK. I'm going to keep running a little bit. And Illinois Toolworks, man, that was a nice open. I love that gap. I mean, obviously, you would have had to short that at open. You would have had to pull a Dennis Dick on that trade. Just getting in 40,000 shares at open and holding through a little bit of resistance. But that was a wonderful gap, and I appreciate whoever mentioned that one for me. I think that was Thomas. Thomas, I want to trade with you, man, next week and the weeks after. You find us gaps like that, we can all make some money together. That was a beautiful move. Again, huge bullish candle yesterday, super small open, right below those lower shadows. Really pretty. All right, this 1 minute chart's getting a little bit of a gnarly retest. I'm just waiting for it to calm down. Right now, the spread on Illinois Toolworks is like $2. So I'm waiting. Honeywell, Chevron's retesting, that's fine. ZUO, could this be a fade? Ooh, very small gap down. Super small gap right into the moving averages. Here's the 5 minute chart. Yeah, that could be a bullish fade. It certainly could. Could go in either direction, I don't know. But coming down and bouncing off the 10, I kind of like it bullish. Let me just let this candle close, and then we will see about it. Not going to get in yet. I have no position open. There's deck retesting. All right. Again, Chevron looks pretty good. Honeywell, big old fade on Honeywell. Not surprising. Couldn't have caught it. I mean, again, a lot of the openings when you have earnings, I mean, they're just so fast. They're so fast. So if you missed an opening move, that's okay. Look at these 1 minute candles on Yum China. Wow. Rudiger Elby found Illinois Toolworks. Thanks, Thomas. I appreciate you tracking that down, man. Thank you. I did not pronounce your name right. I'm sure of that. So apologize, but Rudiger, great find. So Amazon threw in a nice volume candle on the 5 minute chart, down 4%. Could also be a fade today. Here's the 3 minute chart, and here's the 2 minute chart. You get this morning star reversal pattern on a 2 minute. This is a possible bullish fade as well on Amazon. Again, if you're looking at playing Amazon, you probably, I know it's a gap down, but it is Amazon and it's down pretty far, and people are probably going to want to go buy the dip. Let's look at the daily. Yeah, right into all those moving averages. So 5 minute got a high wave bullish candle. This is the 3 high wave bearish candle. Okay. I would have liked it to make a little bit of a lower low. That's okay. On Amazon, if you're playing this one, there's all kinds of ways you could play Amazon down here. I know my buddy Seymour is going to do a bull put spread on Amazon, like a 1600 bull put spread today. 1600 1597 does pay money, expiring today. So for my credit spread fans, 1600 1597 50 bull put spread expiring today. You're going to get about 30 cents out of that, approximately. Right now it's about, yeah, there's a little bit of a spread in there, but you might be able to get filled on something like that. Looks like I missed the break out of the 3 minute candle, and that's okay. We'll see if we can get a pullback. We'll see if we can get the pullback. I did obviously miss the 3 minute candle highway. Hope someone else got that. CY, I mean, beautiful 1 minute chart, very nice open. It was quite cute. But what we got is a just trade up into the purple lines, the 200 simple moving average on a daily, which is fine. It doesn't bother me that it's hitting that, but that was kind of a target, potential target. So, all right, so back to ExxonMobil. Yeah, that's why I waited on ExxonMobil. That is why, right, Dad? Those retest gaps, that's how they do. They retest hard. I'm gonna keep waiting just a little bit longer on ExxonMobil, just a tad. ZUO. So this is the other one that we were looking at on ZUO. It did close above that candle. Interesting. Immediately shooting down. So we can use that to our benefit. Ooh, very spready. All right, keep watching that for a potential bullish trade. But again, DEC had a nice pullback. Illinois Toolworks, if the spread can calm down, we'll consider it. But right now it's fading pretty heavy. Chevron's doing some good things. TBLT gapped up, faded all the way down. If you're playing this one, I mean, the way you would do it realistically is just have yourself a nice loose stop. It is trapping some people, but it could also be one of those really fun, interesting pump and dumps that occur. So if you're getting in at 305, you could set your stop at like 275. Give it some room to run. I did look at CVS early this morning, Ryan, and it definitely was a decent little gap down. Gapping down on this one. I'm still pretty bummed that I did not get out of those calls yesterday for a half-an-hour gain. Still can't totally figure out why I didn't do that since it was the end of the month and they weren't really winning that well. Ryan says, ouch. Yeah, but at least it was calls. I mean, it's a good way to mitigate risk, but gonna take a loss on took a loss on those calls on CVS. Should have sold yesterday, literally forgot it was the end of the month. Just to lock in swing trade profits. That was the only reason I would have exited. Because again, we got into some call options down here. What a dumb gap down too. How lame. It's so frustrating. All right, Z-Links. I think I can take it off the list. Yep, I'll take that off the list. Cigna. So Cigna hasn't faded yet. It was a decent gap and go. Again, with earnings, you're just going to get huge moves pretty quickly at open. And look at that 1 minute candle on Cigna. I wouldn't have caught that though, honestly. It would have just skipped me right over. but we can easily keep a list on this one and watch it. John says, can we use options to day trade? Explain the process why you choose. So here's the thing about options. With options, if you are all interested in day trading options, if anyone does decide today to sign up for the trading room and you want information on options, I will send you all of these videos. This is over 12 hours of options videos specifically related to day trading weekly options and swing trading weekly options. I'll show you the options pricing chart. I'll show you how to use your expirations, your strikes, your stop losses, your targets, all that good stuff. So just as another little added bonus, if anyone does want to sign up today, all you have to do is just email me. So John, I can answer those questions and just tons of videos. So when you do sign up, if anyone's interested in these videos, just say, hey man, I signed up. Let me get those option videos. I'll just email them to you. Jason, deadline for that is Monday. Let's see the official countdown. The official countdown is 3 days, 16 hours, 18 minutes, 3 seconds. It's a hard deadline, by the way. It is hard. You get at me Monday afternoon and go, hey man, I want to get in. Too bad. Jason says, walk hard. That's right. Micron is breaking out of that pennant pattern. Talked about that all day yesterday. Not all day yesterday, but in the afternoon swing trading room, focused a lot of attention on that one. And my boy Andy said he just made 3 R's off of JD.com. Nice. Very nice. Probably a swing trade, I'm guessing. And Square is at 70.97. So I'm just holding Square, holding that one strong. All right, back to the gap list. Again, Cypress was a very good gap. I agree. I won a little bit of a piece of it on the 1 minute chart and it just kind of ran without me. But we can obviously keep an eye on that one. ExxonMobil, again, is just a retest gap. So you want to buy this as low as you can. I'm still just going to keep waiting on Exxon, waiting for the 10 to come up. ZUO. Interesting candle. Okay. Again, looking at possibly fading ZUO, right, which means playing this one long. Even though it is a bearish gap down, it is right into the moving averages. So we'll see. It's a strong possibility. I just barely missed Amazon. Man, like as I was pulling that one up, it broke above that high wave 3-minute candle. But again, if you're doing this bull put spread, there is some premium down there that expires today. Perwan says, would I be able to access the RLT Slack channel through an iOS app if I decide to sign up? Yes, of course. Absolutely. D says, Tesla thoughts. So I was looking at Tesla this morning, drew the blue line. The blue line was the support resistance. When I was looking at Tesla, I said, hey guys, it needs to break below that if it's going to go bearish, and if not, bite off of it bullish. It traded down to it and bounced bullish. So Tesla, 2 for 2 on that 304 price range. And if I'm looking at what it would do now, I mean, again, nice little high wave bearish candle on a 5-minute. It broke above that high. I'd be playing it bullish on a pullback. Tesla. And if you're zooming in, if you're playing shares, probably playing options, but playing shares, this looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, let it consolidate. If it pops out of here and keeps running, hop in. Okay, so here is CI. Still hanging out. Again, Micron, this is a cute gap. I do like Micron. It's not really a gap necessarily. I mean, it is, but it's more or less like a momentum play that just looks like it's breaking above some resistance. This is a 5-minute chart, so keeping my eyes on this one, on Micron. I'd like for that to continue higher. Perwan says, thanks for the response. Another question. I see most trades are stock trades. Would replacing stock trades with options for a small account be a good idea? only on the right stocks. Only on the right stocks. So it really depends on what stocks those are. There's specific stocks that works for options much better than other ones. So I definitely want to make sure you're fully aware of that, because there is only specific options that can work best. So again, if you are looking at day trading weekly options a little bit more, and if you do sign up, these videos are worth $189 by themselves. So if you're interested in accessing any day trading information with options, these are some great videos on doing that. And again, anyone who signs up, I will email those to you if you want. My buddy Vladimir from Poland is throwing in a chat pane on MRK. Beautiful. All right, so MRK, let me go look at that one for you, bud. And yeah, nice move. Nice little retest gap. Good gap. I'm glad you like that one. Because remember, folks, some people like different things. You see something, you see a pattern that you like, you dig it, makes sense to you, play it. Same thing with PayPal. I kind of like this little bullish move on PayPal. Bouncing out of here, so I'd like a little bit of a pullback on that. Amazon, great fade. Sorry I missed that fade, folks. Apologies. Nice 3-minute, but that spread, 1,659.7 spread, there's some money there, folks. That is some gains. That's some gains. So CY, still hanging on. ExxonMobil, retesting the retest gap. ZUO, nah. I'm going to keep waiting on this one for a while. It looks super choppy. Okay, DEC is almost fully retested, which is good. Illinois Toolworks is hanging out. Get a little bit of a takeaway. So if I'm going to go bearish on Illinois Toolworks, which is certainly possible, I'm going to be looking for this candle to get taken out. The reason I'm choosing that candle is because this volume is the biggest as far as the bulls go. That's it. So we have a good little candle there with some volume. We'll see if this thing breaks down. It looks a little sideways right now, but it's certainly a possibility for a bearish trade. Okay. So Illinois Toolworks, I'm gonna scoot that one up because right now it's kind of the top of the list for a potential trade. CY, again, hit a target and is pulling back. So I probably won't play CY. ZUO keeps going lower. Amazon faded very nicely. Should have done a little bit of a tighter bull put spread on that, I guess. Tim says SPY having a really hard time with yesterday's high. Chevron, so again, the retesting. So there's a lot of retests. Looks like we're going to wait a whole 30 minutes or so before a trade. That stock just ran. Again, TBLT, it's doing okay. MRK retested after it made its new high. Symantec. So SYMC doing its thing. And Tesla. Man, I love selling options on Tesla. MU, just looking for a pullback on MU. Just a little bit of a rest. And then PayPal, same thing, just looking for some pullback. So right now we got a little bit of a run on some things, looking for a pullback. Alex says, do we get a text when you enter a new trade? If you have Slack and you go through the preferences, Alex, and set it all up, yes, you can get a text message. It's not a text, it's a notification to Slack, right? So it's not like an exact text, but if you turn your notifications on, then, yep. Okay, so again, SPY, it did make a new high by 2 pennies, but that's where all of the newbies are going to be getting in. So we'll probably be pulling back some, potentially. Still have not taken a trade yet. Usually the best traders know when to wait. and just simply be patient. Let the trade come to them. Just find a trade that you like. Again, CY hit a target. ExxonMobil is a retest gap, and it's coming into these moving averages. I still like it. Still like the gap. It's just hanging out. Definitely going to be buying on a pullback if I play ExxonMobil. ZUO, I have no idea what this thing's going to do. I'm not going to short it, though. Joanne says, patience is hard. It is the hardest part of trading. It is the hardest part. So Amazon, cute little retracement here. A little bit of a dip on Amazon. DEC still hanging out. Chevron still retracing. Honeywell. So again, a lot of things that's gapped up and kind of faded. Everything except 310 to Yuma. Man, YUMC is cranking. TBLT, I think I'll just take that off the list. I mean, I was looking at it doing something cool. It didn't. So a stock like that, I'm just not going to waste my time. MRK, just retesting, still doesn't look bad. SYNC, I mean, this is a software technology company, new high. We have a few white candles in a row. I'm definitely not going to chase this trade, but I do like the volume that's coming in. I like the volume. I like the movement. Interested to see what happens with that. Again, so far, presently, no trades yet. Just waiting for a good setup that I like, which is important. You want to be patient. You want to have that muscle, that waiting muscle. Cigna, so there's Cigna bouncing around. Here is Tesla. Dennis, what you got for me?
Buddy, this is one of those crazy days where you got some stocks going straight up, some stocks going straight down, some stocks going straight sideways. I got my head on a swivel here today. A lot of different movement. And not just the earnings stocks, some random movements here again today. It's been like you remember, and back to behavioral finance, and for all you finance guys out there, remember the random walk theory that they taught? Do you remember that one, Jeremy, the random walk theory?
No, tell me about that one.
That was the theory from behavioral, I think it was behavioral finance. It was in my finance courses. I'm not sure if it was behavioral finance or if it was which course it was in. But the random walk theory says that the market just walks randomly and nobody can predict what is going to happen in the next move. And obviously it's not true, but some days I feel like it is true. And this is one of those days where it's very hard to predict the next move in some of these individual stocks. So I often joke on Twitter when I can't figure this out, or when the moves seem very random, the random walk theory is getting us here today. I just look, it's interesting because you had a lot of the techs right off the hop shrug off the Amazon news, like just off the opening. And then some of them are starting to actually get hit here a little bit. Like you look at Square getting beat up here, and Amazon's actually rallied. So it's, usually you look at these and there's somewhat, strong correlations, with some of these tech stocks. And in this case, you've got some tech stocks very weak, like Microsoft, Square. You've got other tech stocks that are holding up fairly well and doing very well, like Apple. So, and that's not just in the tech sector. I'm seeing it in, in some of the, the drug sector. I'm seeing it, some of the financials are strong and some of them aren't as strong. There's a lot of just random moves here today. The one sector I do see very weak is some of your healthcare stocks, because there was some Trump comments there after the bell on drug pricing. And if you look at like a Cardinal Health, UNH, CI had earnings that didn't help it. CVS, those stocks are very weak here today. XLV is trading down here as well. But very tricky market here today.
Yeah, man. Sometimes, like I said, with Friday, I noticed that with Fridays, I get this question a lot, like, what's the hardest day to trade? I tell people, man, Mondays and Fridays.
Yeah.
If I had no days to trade and just take 4-day weekends, it would be Fridays and Mondays off. I would trade Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. I found statistically that Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays are my most profitable day.
Why do you think that is?
Dude, I have no idea. I would have to say,
things.
I mean, the theories of like option expirations on Friday.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of movements. The Max Payne theory. where you have the market being pushed forward and backwards for certain expirations on options. Then you have people that come up with the theory, hey, everyone wants to leave early, get out of town, go on a vacation, so they're going to go do something. So it's kind of sporadic that way.
I could see it on Fridays. Why do you think Mondays?
Hangovers, man.
Hangovers. These traders like to drink.
That's right.
Sometimes you have to drink just to stay sane.
No, that's my only theory on Mondays. That's all I've got.
This is kind of the day where I feel like drinking. It's funny. I'm actually up money here today, but I just feel like there's so many random moves here that I almost feel like I need a drink here just to keep my head straight, because this is a weird day. Like, look at some of these retail stocks. Like, check out Kohl's, KSS. This thing's getting hit here today.
Cool.
And I didn't see a headline here. And, obviously we can't, randomly grab every single headline, but I didn't really see anything really jumping out. It opened up. Like, it opened like it was just open at the market, opened right at the high tick, 68.84, and it has been straight down for $1.50 with not really any bounce at all. Walmart, same thing. Walmart opened up, high tick, straight down with no bounce at all. Now, I thought maybe Walmart, they've got a pharmacy component there, and obviously CVS and Walgreens Boots are very weak here today with those Trump comments. So I could see a little bit from Walmart from that perspective, but still, it's a big move. I mean, Walmart down another 2 points. We saw this with Walmart 3 days ago. Just go straight down 2 points on really no news as well. Funny things happening.
Beautiful, man. I love that. And that's, it just all comes down to those good approaches. I like your stock picks, man. Like Kohl's. So that's the thing. I would love to know about Kohl's like 15 minutes ago.
I should have been on with you. I was trying to trade out of my trades, though. That first 15 minutes is wild. I'm trying to get all my overnights. And I do OPG orders. They're called opening only, where I'm actually positioning myself, where I think a stock's opening too high or too low, or maybe for some different reasons. Mm-hmm. But I'm working out of all those trades too. So once I get under control here, then I usually can hop on here with you, Jeremy. But just the first 15, 20 minutes are pretty crazy for me. I was able to be done here a little bit quicker here today, so I could get on. But holy cow, yeah, that Kohl's move, that's a wicked move.
Yeah, wicked move.
You want to see wicked in the other direction? I'll give you a couple. Visa and
Visa,
in the chat here. Yeah, Jason in the chat here is saying, check this out. Straight opens up. Visa opens up 30 cents, straight up $3. Visa had its earnings, a couple days ago. So I don't know if this is just, post earnings volatility or post earnings wildness, but man, that move is straight up.
Yep. Straight up. And that nice little high wave candle from yesterday. I was talking about this in the afternoon room, and I was like, guys, however this moves, like if it breaks down based on yesterday's candle, you can be bearish, but if it breaks up, be bullish. I mean, that's just a really nice bracket trade, because those high wave candles, those really nice indecision candles after a gap is beautiful. I love those.
A lot of wild moves. There was some wild moves on the close yesterday too. I'm not sure how many of your traders were trading actively on the close, but end of the month, funny things happen. So at the end of the month and end of the quarter, those are big days for closing. Those are big days for institutions where they're moving money around. Maybe they want to make their quarterly statements or monthly statements look a little bit different. So they might be moving in or out of a stock. Maybe they don't want to show this stock and they want to get rid of this stock, or maybe they want to buy this stock. So you do see some wicked moves on the close at the end of the month. Yesterday was extra wicked, though. Check out Johnson & Johnson on the close, J&J. This is a stock that, basically took all day to rally 2 points, gave it all back in the last 15 seconds. Check it out, J&J, the closing tick. So it had a huge closing sell imbalance. Yeah. And what those sell imbalances those are orders designated to be executed on the close. You can get that information from the floor. You should be able to get it, you can get it through an Interactive Brokers. Some of your retail platforms do provide it. Almost all your proprietary platforms provide that information. But a huge sell imbalance on the close. And obviously, stocks trading around 135 with a minute to go. Didn't get paired off. There wasn't the institutional action on the other side, and they took her down 2 points to get it done. So basically, you see that boom, and now you see it rally right back here today, and often those moves. And J&J wasn't the only one. I'll give you a few examples of these just on the close from yesterday. Coca-Cola fell over 1% on the closing print. That's a stock that doesn't move much. Wow. 48.75 all the way down to 48.13, and then the bounce back 48.64 Berkshire Hathaway, Berk.B, fell almost $2 on the closing print. It's come all the way back here today. Starbucks, SBUX, wicked close. Had a whole bunch of oscillations in the last few seconds. Went all the way down to 67.
That. Why is that? What happened?
Yeah, that's institutional closing action. So same thing, end of the month, big orders, not the offsetting orders to offset. A lot of times you'll see high-frequency traders come in. They'll take the other side and offset it all. If it gets too big, if the order is too big, sometimes they can't, and they're not even big enough to offset it all. So you almost need other institutional action. If it's not there, sometimes you can see some wicked closes. And the way to profit from that is obviously to have that information, have an order sitting out there on the book designated the other way, like a limit on close order where I'm willing to buy it at this price. And then you get executed on that, and boom, the stock's right back up. So if you were able to get those closing prints on J&J way down, and the J&J close being 133.08, you got a point right away. So there's some fun, obviously, technicals. We do a lot of technicals. Obviously, Jeremy, you do a lot of technicals too. Some of this other stuff involved here too. These are different edges that are out there. And this is called your imbalance feed, where you can get this information directly from the floor.
Interesting. No, that's a great takeaway, man. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, lots of action, but typically they don't do much. End of the month, end of the quarter, third Friday of the month with option expiration. That's when you sometimes see some movement where maybe the big institutional orders don't have the offsetting interest, and you can see a really big move in one direction or another. But wicked moves, and we're seeing the follow through here on certain stocks. Obviously, the ones that gap down coming back, but you're also seeing some wicked moves here this morning with Walmart trading down $2. Costco is another one which was interesting. I'm just trying to throw you some ideas here because I'm going to stay with you for a few minutes. Okay. Costco ran up $3. Look at the close. Ran up $3 in the last few minutes. Huge buy imbalance, obviously, on the close. Ran up, and now here it is half an hour later, 32 minutes after the close from 4 o'clock yesterday, 32 trading minutes later, giving it all back.
So those imbalances, I mean, how do you, as someone who trades them, how do you spot those?
I've just got them. Well, I've got scanners that'll scan for it too. Sure. So multiple ways. But I usually keep about 200 of the largest S&P components on a quote watch on my one screen, and it has that imbalance stat. So I have 5 columns there. So if I'm looking at just typical stock, Johnson & Johnson, I can see the last, I can see the change, so it's going to show me if it's up or down, and I've got the imbalance there, which will show me from what it is. And these imbalances come out in the morning and at night. So just to give you information on the imbalance data, it comes out at 3:45 p.m. for the closing. And then those continuously adjust until the close. I also have what is called a continuous book price feed. And what that does is it projects the closing price. So it starts projecting it after 3:45 when that imbalance data comes in. It says if the stock was to close now, it would close here. Now, obviously, it's still freely trading. More orders are coming in. But as it gets closer and closer and closer to 4 o'clock, it's projecting where the New York price is going to close. It's not talking about the other exchanges, only the New York price on that feed. NASDAQ has a similar feed, which you can subscribe to. And then in the morning, it's a bit different. So in the pre-market imbalances actually come out as early as 8:30, 1 hour before the market opens. The continuous book price doesn't come out till 9:28. And that's when you see a projection of the opening price. That's why if you're trading at 9:28 in the morning, or if you're watching your stocks at 9:28 in the morning, you'll see some wicked moves, sometimes at 9:28.00, because the continuous book price has just been published to everybody who's subscribing to that feed, and it's projecting the opening price. So if stock is trading like at $100 and it's projected to open at 102, traders will come and start to try to buy it up because it's projected to open higher. Now, it's still a moving target. The continuous book price isn't set in stone. It will move. But as new orders come into the book, especially on New York, because they allow the new orders to come in, but it gives you an idea that, hey, this stock is going to potentially open stronger.
The more you know, right, my man? I love that.
All we're trying to do is educate the listeners.
That's right.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot of information out there. And if you want to subscribe, and I can do a shameless plug here. Well, not even shameless. It's not my product, but Rosenblatt has a retail product. If you don't get it through your regular, ask your retail broker. Interactive Brokers has this information. So if you're with IB, you can get this information. Just call up IB and say, how do I get the imbalance feed? They'll publish it. It's free. It's free through your data provider. At least the imbalance feed is. If you don't have it, you can get through Rosenblatt Securities too. I think they have a retail product. It's $100 a month.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Lots to think about always, though. So sometimes, technicals take a back seat when you have huge, order flow happening at the close. It's important to sometimes know that information. You might be in a trade and say, oh, I'm going to sell it here. But if you see a huge buy balance, maybe I'll hold on to that trade a little bit. Maybe I'm going to get a better price at the close. So, and it moves, and then the funny things happen with them. So they don't work as well as maybe they did 15 years ago. There's so, high frequency traders are so fast, orders coming in and out so quickly that it's kind of such a moving target. Where if we go back to 20 years ago when I was looking at this information, it was human beings sending these orders, so they weren't moving around so quickly. Now with so many algorithms, these orders can change. Something can show a big buy imbalance, it can flip to sell in the last second because the traders are fast.
Totally. Interesting stuff, man. Thank you for your wisdom as usual.
So what are you trading this morning? Talk to me.
I haven't traded anything yet. Believe it or not, I was looking. I almost got a good fade on Amazon. I did think it was going to gap down.
You like getting down and dirty in the wild ones, eh?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's all the same risk, right? I mean, if you can do the math, it doesn't really matter if it's if you're playing Amazon, you're buying shares. Yeah, maybe you're going to buy 30 shares, right? As opposed to if you're playing U.S. Steel where you buy 1,000 or something. But
right.
It's all the same risk. I mean, if your risk is $500, you can easily calculate it. But yeah, I'll trade pretty much anything, man. I mean, as far as the Amazon, I don't know. You're looking at it and it doesn't seem like the earnings were good. They're not controlling the world yet, but they had good earnings. And it was a decent gap down, just kind of looked like it was going to go a little bit higher. So I just missed that trade. But right now I'm stalking, I think ExxonMobil is probably one of my favorite gaps of the day.
Big earnings gap, and it's a gap and go here too because it's continuing to go up. Are you looking at to come back eventually and try to fill that? What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, so this one particularly, what I call this one, the name I give this one is a retest gap because you have these bullish candles right here. So two really nice bullish candles, and they both have really good volume. So my thought was when this thing gaps up, what happens is anyone who bought right there, they're going to sell. And that's what creates that lower shadow on ExxonMobil. So it's pretty much when it opens, it starts pulling back a little bit, it starts selling. So you want to kind of wait for a dip to come in first before you get into ExxonMobil. And that's really what I was just waiting on, was just a good dip. And it never came back to I was looking for the 10 on the 5. That's usually just, if I play a retest gap, that's just what I wait for. So it's pretty easy, just the 10 EMA on the 5 minute, in the first 30 minutes or so. And it almost got there, but it didn't quite. It's right in here, it was probably about 20 cents away. If this had made a new low, so this, you had this nice lower shadow here.
Yeah.
If this candle makes a new low, right? That means that people are going to short it. They're expecting it to go lower. And if it has that nice wick and then bounces, then I'm much, much more inclined to take that trade bullish.
So are you in this trade right now, or you didn't execute on this trade?
I am not. No, I didn't get that entry, that lower shadow that I was looking for. So I'm just waiting. At this point, since again, it is a retest gap, we have good volume. It'll likely pull back again. So I'm just going to wait for this next S curve like this to come down into the 10 on the 5 and see if we can catch it there. But I'll be keeping an eye on ExxonMobil probably the rest of the day. I'm glad it's happening though, because like I mentioned, I have longer term positions in BP, and even though it's not really causing it to move, it is a little bit, so it's up over the last few days. So that's good. I like BP moving bullish. YUMC, Yum China. Dude, look at this move. 8% on Yum China.
Yeah, that's a big earnings gap here too.
Yeah.
Another one. And this was another one that they kind of were leaning up into the report. It had a nice little candle before the report. Now the gap and go here as well.
Yeah, it was interesting. PayPal. So PayPal had a nice little move. So it's kind of continuing from the low of yesterday.
What about Square? Square's getting hit here a little bit here today. Obviously Amazon wasn't helping some tech stocks, but it's helping other ones. PayPal's bouncing back. Square's still under pressure here. What do you make of that?
Good old Square. I mean, so what's happening is you're absolutely right. You're getting a compression. Here's the long-term moving averages. And we're just getting a compression. The 100 and 200, with the downgrade, you're going to get people who are going to continually kind of buy and sell off of those averages. I got the $70 covered call expiring today. So I'll probably end up buying that back towards the end of the day, depending on how it closes. Just buy it back and then sell another one for, I don't know, February week 4 or something, like a 75 or an 80 maybe. But I mean, realistically, it's just going to be kind of a non-event today.
Talk about, and Jeremy, and I'm just curious how you talk about a trade when you've got, an option, you've got a written option expiring, and it's close to the strike price. How are you, like, let's just say it's like a 70-10 or 70-15. Do you watch it close and see, okay, well, if it's going to expire, obviously I don't want to just, bother covering, or do you just cover it in because it's just too close to call? How do you trade those?
That's a great question. I actually usually will watch it right at the end of the close. I will very often buy those back at the very tail end of the day, because when I sold this one, I sold it for 75 cents. So my thought is, if I can buy that call back towards the end of the day, like right at the tail end of the day for 20 cents, it's like, okay, cool. I got an extra 50 cents on 300 shares, which is $150 for 2 weeks of waiting, which is pretty much a free dividend since Square doesn't pay dividends, right?
Right.
I'll watch it right toward the end of the day. If I'm this close, right at the money. I personally haven't been called away on something like that. It's certainly possible. And if it happens, right, if I sold a call and it does close right before the market closed and I get called away, for whatever reason, that's okay. I don't mind that. Because I figure if I get called away at 70-17 or something, that's where they exercise their option, then I'll be able to buy it for 69.80, the next day. So I can always get back in cheaper than I sold for, which is, and the intelligent investor, that's what he says. Like, if, I'm sure you've read that, obviously.
Yeah, I know.
It's like if you're going to sell, the only way you should sell a stock is if you can buy it cheaper. Otherwise, don't sell it. That was my big takeaway. It was like,
and this is one you still want to own in your long-term portfolio, correct? So this is one you don't want to let get away from you.
Exactly. So I don't want to let it get away. If it does, it's okay. I mean, like I said, I'll sell a pretty aggressive put and potentially put some shares again. But I will be watching this one all the way up till close. Yep.
Do you have anything else expiring?
Today, this is February week 1. No, I have nothing else expiring today. That was the only one, which is kind of rare. I will say most Fridays I have something expiring somewhere, but this is the only one. I had a January 25. I have a lot of regular Februaries, but nothing for this is the only one, man.
What do you make of the S&P move here? We've got Amazon still trading down. It has bounced a bit here with the overall market, but still down 64 points. You would think that would weigh on the S&P. It is not the case. S&P is rallying in its face. I mean, the dippers are just out here lurking, it seems like, continuously lately. We got the S&Ps trading up 9 handles and Amazon down 65. Definitely divergence there. What's going to derail this bull? I mean, they are just hungry for stocks.
I'm going to give you a little bit of praise, man. I laughed at your tweet that you sent about the honey badger doesn't care.
No, you don't care. And it's the same. They don't care again in today either. They cared a little bit this morning and now don't care again.
Honey badger don't care.
Honey badger don't care. Honey badger market, Amazon down 80. We don't care. We buy stocks.
Dude, it's funny because, I thought Amazon would drag it down a little bit, but I mean, being one of the biggest companies in the world, down a decent amount, but you're right. It had no bearing at all.
Nope. Not on the S&P. I weighed a little bit on the Qs, obviously, and Qs are barely green here, but on the S&P, they're finding other stocks to buy. And I think they were helped a little bit by some of these other good earnings reports this morning. Obviously, Exxon, Chevron, Merck all reporting positive results, Honeywell as well. So the earnings helped them a little bit here this morning. But, man, they just find stuff to buy. Even the banks here. The banks were looking a little bit weak off in the pre-market here this morning. And a lot of them have turned green as well. It's just seeing, like I'm looking, I see a lot of green on the screen.
Yeah, man, not that much red. So I'm hunting. I'm on the hunt. Deck up 10%. Deckers outdoors.
Huge move. Yeah. What are your thoughts on this one? Opened at 146. Look at where that thing opened. Yeah. And that's where we talk about sometimes these stocks just have wild opens. It's still just supply and demand at the open that causes that opening print. And sometimes, and obviously it was too high. It opened at 146. It did have a little, shot up just quickly up to 146.89 in that opening candle, but then it's been straight down ever since. I mean, sometimes these stocks, just get, too much. And obviously maybe people are just get too excited and they're paying too much for it. I mean, opening up 18, I had to be too much for that, no?
Yeah, I mean, it was. Yeah, it opened and just kind of just sold off. My thought is I'm trying to figure out if it's going to pull a service now from yesterday and just keep on rocking.
Well, did you see that?
Yeah, dude.
That was an incredible move. And that thing opened, and you think, okay, well, here's a stock opening up, 20 points. How high can it go? It runs another 10, 12 points. So
yeah.
That stock just, and straight up, I mean, from where it opened, it ran up 10 points in a matter of like 15 minutes, another 10. So if you were fading that gap and saying, no, it's opening too high, well, it went the other way. So, these things, hindsight's 20/20, but man, I guess, in the case of Decker, sometimes it can open high and go higher. In the case of Service Now, it opened high and went higher.
It's fun stuff, man. You're absolutely right. So I'm just keeping an eye on something. My goal is to make $189 today. That's my goal. But if I don't hit it, that's okay. If I don't lose, to me, that's always a win in my book. Like if I don't take any trade, if I go a whole day without trading, which I know, it's, for me, just the way I trade, it's relatively rare, but it probably happens about 2 or 3 times a month.
I mean, if you can go and you're getting education for free then. So I always say, even if you're trading and you have a scratch day, think of all the education that you just got for free there.
That's a good
and there's no better education. I mean, you can listen to Jeremy, you can listen to our show, Pre-Market Prep. You can listen to anybody who won on CNBC. There's no better education than you getting your feet wet, getting in there and actually trading stocks, learning, about slippage, missing a trade, getting in and out. And people, will ask me about paper trading a lot. And I'm torn on that. I think, maybe if you wanted to first start, sure, if you wanted to just, try paper trading. But I always like, hey, can't you just go in and buy like 10 shares or something? Get your feet wet. Get like real money in there so you can feel, because when you're paper trading, it's not the same as with real money. You have a whole psychology issue. You have so much more involved. So I always push people to put up just a little bit. You don't have to trade a ton of money. Just get your feet wet and get used to it if you're new to trading, because it's such a different game once you have your money in it. And all those psychological factors come in. I mean, I've been trading professionally for 20 years here now, and I still fight my own psychology. And I try, and you make the same mistakes you made before. But the best way you can do, some of my best trading days are days that I lose money, but I got a good education. I learned something, and that's going to help make me money in the long run. It's like investing in yourself.
That's a great point. I like that a lot. I haven't actually thought about it that way.
Don't get frustrated, losing money. Just learn from it, and try to shake it off as best you can. And everybody in this, there's nobody that's coming in here making money, every single trader, every single day. You're always going to have days that, hey, the stuff just didn't work out. You have the best edges in the world. Sometimes they just aren't going to work out. It's a matter of being able to, shake that off and, and move on from that and learn from it. And that's the biggest thing is I learn a lot more from my mistakes than I do from my winning trades. And that's why I love talking about my losing trades, to our listeners and to you guys as well, because, then you guys can learn from my losing trades as well. I think you learn a lot more from losing money than you do from making money.
Always, man. Yeah, I'm totally with you. Yeah, but I think Deck is just going to slowly keep climbing today. So I'm gonna see if I can try to snag something on it.
Talk about a setup here. What would make you want to get into this trade? Talk about a setup with me.
What I would like would be a pullback right into this 10, a little bit of a flash lower. So this is what I would love. Pretty much what it's doing now. Just a little bit of a sell-off, break the low of this candle, because there's people who are in long have their stop right here, right? So let it flash lower, piss them off, throw in a little bit of a lower shadow, super small candle, and I'll get in right there at the stop right there.
So shake those guys out, get some stronger hands in there, and you can participate in those. It's all about shaking out the weak hands.
Yeah, I like shaking outs. I like looking for people. I mean, because that's the thing is people, when you're talking about moving stops, it's like the market doesn't hunt for your stop. It knows where everyone's stops are, right? You're not special. So everyone, like anyone who's in a day trade probably has their stop right here, 140, 144. And if it does break that level, which it doesn't have to, but if it does, yeah, you're going to get a lot of people stopped out. Just going to throw in a nice lower shadow because they're all going to sell. And then I'll look for the buy off of the 10. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. We'll see if that happens. But yeah, man, that when I trade, I really do just keep a close eye on who's making money, who's losing money, who's upset. and do that visually based on the candles.
Yeah, just the thinking behind it all. And again, you're trying to identify the crowded trade potentially. Traders are in this long here right now, short-term day traders will shake those out, and then it's not as crowded, and that's when maybe I want to jump in there. So, I love this, the thinking behind the charts as well. And I think I try to use charts in the same way. You can just look at the picture, you can analyze, but the thinking behind the picture is sometimes, more valuable than the picture itself.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like what you were saying. I just like that takeaway because one of the gentlemen that I traded with in the past, who's pretty big in the trading world, he just talks about get your time in front of the charts. Get your time in front of the charts, visually see it, because at some point your mind and brain will just start to assimilate what you like. And you won't know what it is that you like initially, and that's fine, but your brain will kind of see it. And if you spend enough time in front of the charts, you'll just kind of be able to get a feeling for what it is, what's happening, why it's happening, and you'll be able to play it a lot better.
David in the chat's bringing up SNAP. This stock actually caught an upgrade from a little boutique brokerage here today. I'm going to go just grab who that was. But you did see it in the pre-market start to pop up because of that upgrade there. It was raised Cassend. And I don't follow Cassend, but Snap is looking for any good reason to buy it, I think.
Any good reason, yeah.
Any good reason. This is good enough reason. And you know what? It's been straight up since the open.
Dennis Dick signed up for Snapchat, and they send that out to everybody. That's
yeah, there you go.
That's great stuff, man.
What do you think of this chart? Snap, talk to me.
Let me look at Snapchat. I mean, fundamentally, obviously, there's hemorrhaging money, but
yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the story.
No, not yet. But
charts can sometimes look okay. I'm not a fan of the story, but let's see what the chart. Let's see
what is strong is this gap down that occurs. You have tons of volume, and this candle is about as bearish as you can get. That particular candle. So you get this shaved bottom bearish candle. Tons of people selling that gap. And then literally 2 days later, we hit this huge bullish candle close above that. So anyone who is in short or who has puts, they probably are trapped. This one is, like I said, fundamentally definitely a weaker stock. So I'm going to wait for earnings for sure to play this one. But it is recovering. That's the thing is it is having some recovery. The weekly chart kind of looks like an inverted head and shoulders pattern. And if we're doing some type of interesting wave count, potentially, you could get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's ugly, but it's there. And then the wave 5 is comprised of a 1, 2, 3. That makes sense. So I get it. It could trade back up to 10. That's a huge move on a $7 stock. That's pretty massive. So I'm going to wait till earnings because most likely they're hemorrhaging money again. But I will watch it and just see what they do and look for a little bit of a pullback.
So you do put a little bit of fundy stuff, fundamental thought
every now and
then.
Yeah, if it's a longer term trade, for sure. Like if I'm looking at something bigger picture, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna own shares of Snapchat long term.
Yeah, if you don't like the story, you're not gonna play it from alongside long term, which makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even if the chart sets up well.
Yep, exactly. So again, for at least a long term, kind of like GoPro. That's the chart that I like the product. It's almost too good. That's the thing is once you buy one, you're good to go.
Right.
You don't have to buy another one again, more or less.
Right. They need to be more than a one-trick pony because everybody's already bought the trick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you think of GoPro here? Oh, look at the consolidation station here, just under $5, just sitting here hanging out forever.
My thoughts on GoPro, I tell people, pull up the hourly chart, trade it with Robinhood where it's free commissions, buy 100 shares at $4.98, sell them at $5.03, and just do that over and over again.
Just day trade it back and forth.
Yeah.
You could have did it quite a few times here in the last month.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. This is the hourly chart, and you're just going to get those small little channels.
Yeah.
So it's kind of wash and repeat. Wash and repeat. Oh, there it is, man. Look at this on deck. Look at that. Foretelling the future.
There you go. Did you get it?
141.23 on DECK, just right below the low of that 10. Classic shakeout, ladies and gentlemen. So again, that's the thing is this is just pure, like if you're looking at the day trade and you're looking at these moving averages and you're trying to get an idea for where to place a stop, just don't make it somewhere super obvious. You know, if you have this, that's why I like to tell people, have your little bit of a conservative stop in place. Because that, you know, when you set up a trade, at least that way you can't lose a lot. You know, you're going to be in the trade, you're going to get the feeling of holding, you're going to get the feeling of, like Dennis was saying, like your heart beating and you're in the trade. You know, you get to feel that, but it's often much more advisable just, you know, especially if you're in a bullish day trade, just keep your stops in place, let it run for a little bit, let it work for you, and then move your stops later. Because, you know, bullish day trades are just slower, right, Dave?
So now that we shook out a few of those people, are you looking at buying this thing now? Like, what's your setup here?
So on ITW, if you're going to play this one, sorry, not ITW.
On Deckers.
Yeah, Deck. On DECK, if I know my buddy Andrew is already in this as well. Once this candle closes, then do a limit buy off of the high of this candle with, again, a stop a little bit below the low of that candle. But you're going to want this candle to close just to make sure it's not some type of weird, strange, like double top thing trying to form. And then just do a limit buy off of the hammer if you're going to play DECK. And then the next shakeout, Dennis, will be off of the 10 on the 5. All right, so this will be the next one. So the next shakeout will be this guy. So once this little 10 starts trading up, then at some point it'll make a little bit of a higher high. It'll flash down to the 10 and then, you know, kind of bounce off that as well. So
just talk, and I can only stay for a few minutes, and I'm just curious in your thoughts of this too, because a lot of times, and obviously, I know I do a lot of very short-term scalping, day trading, different stuff. Swing trading, I've never really, you know, done a lot of. I do some of it, but you know, my average time frame is probably less than yours, Jeremy. Mm-hmm. Talk about how you strategically set your stop so you don't end up getting stopped out of everything, just in the chop.
Sure. I mean, I wish I was the best at placing stops. I mean, like I said, you're still going to get stopped out. So I want to make sure everyone knows that whatever you're doing, you're still going to get placed. You're still going to get
right
out. But one thing I like to do with swing trades is I do love using protective puts if I'm going to be in a longer term swing. You know, this is going to last a few months. I'll use protective puts. That way I don't get stopped out. So the flash is lower, hits a put, and then bounces. You know, I buy a put, but I stay in the trade. But realistically, what I like doing is I like to try to look for, when I'm setting up a swing trade, here's I guess the most recent example will be MKC. So if I'm doing a trade on MKC and I look at this trade, my question is going to be, where does everyone have their stop?
Okay.
Like if I'm looking at a chart, where does everyone have their stop? And I would love to get in there. You know, like I'd love to get in there, but the best advice I have for stop placement, so this is McCormick and Company, is I don't place it right below the low of the candle. You know, I try to give it a little bit of wiggle room. So try to get in as low as possible where it's going to be uncomfortable to buy. So try to buy, if you're going to get into a bullish swing trade, try to buy it as cheap as you can. So that way you can set your stop farther away. And then once, you know, if the trade starts moving in your favor, you can move your stop up and lose smaller just in case something weird does happen.
So like low of the move 119, you wouldn't set it like 118.75 because it's just too close.
Correct. Yep.
So you would set 117.75. I see what you're showing there, like a buck and a quarter below it, or is that too close too?
No, a buck. And as far as the price, it's not necessarily a percentage number or a price number. It really is just kind of looking at the chart. So I'll go look at another one. Here's QTT. So QTT was a swing trade that a lot of traders are in. And this was one that we set up based on just this consolidation. So you had this really good run up. So I love wave counting, Dennis. That's one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
So this was like an obvious wave 3. So this was a wave 4. So you got the wave 4 pullback. You get some consolidation right here. And once that consolidation pops, it's like, let's roll. So with that particular stop, you'll notice I'm putting it below the low of this hammer, below the low of this bearish candle right there, but I'm still giving it just a little bit extra room.
Just a little bit of room so you don't get,
Yeah, so if it does something like this and bounces, sometimes it likes to retest. A lot of swing trades will like to retest the level with a little bit of a double bottom. sometimes a higher double bottom, and you just want to keep your eyes on where that pivot comes in so that you don't necessarily get stopped out at that price.
Great stuff, Jeremy. I appreciate, because obviously, that's a tricky thing. I mean, your stop placement. And first of all, I just want to say, and you have so many traders and so many other, commentators that don't talk about this stuff. Like, where are you putting your stop? They just talk about, oh, this is what I'm going to make on this trade.
Yeah.
And the most important thing, and I love this is how you do this, Jeremy. The most important thing with trading, it's not about what you make, it's about what you don't lose.
Correct.
So, making sure you have a stop in there when the trade, doesn't work out for you is the most important thing, because that's where a lot of people turn a trade into an investment, and that is a guaranteed way to lose money in the long run in this business.
Yep, I agree, man. For example, go ahead and give me one stock that you're looking at for a swing trade, and I'll show you how I would set it up.
Square. Let's just say Square, because you've had Square. I like the story still.
Sure.
And it's pulled back from the recent highs. So this is one that, I would be more, and I'm not saying I'm going to do it or not, but
sure.
I'm saying I like the setup here. It's pulled back. I like the story still. Maybe I'd be interested in getting into Square.
Totally. So I would have two setups on this one.
Okay.
I would let today close for the second one. But here's trade number one. So if I'm looking at this trade, I'm going to say, where is everyone's stops? Most likely, they're going to be around here somewhere. Like right below this candle, right below this candle.
Right.
If someone's in bullish, that's probably where they're going to get in. So I would have entry number one right here, just right below those candles. That would be my entry. And then my stop loss would be below this pivot here. So that would be my stop loss. Just right below the lows of that most recent place where we trade higher and we made a higher low. So where we did this, boom, boom, boom. Because on a smaller fractal scale, what you can see is that double bottom that I was talking about, where the price loves to retest. So that was kind of like a double bottom on a 15-minute chart maybe. So that's where my stop would go. Now the second trade setup that I would have on Square, like I mentioned, I would wait for today's candle to close. More or less because it's a Friday, the trend is still bullish, but it's a little bit of a bearish candle, but it has a lower shadow. So depending on how today closes, I would get in bullish right above this candle, just right above it. So if it closes, let's say it closes just like this, I'm gonna get in right above that candle. And like you mentioned, so if everyone's stops are gonna be here, I'm gonna tighten and have a really nice tight stop on that trade right below this candle. Because if I'm wrong, that's fine, right? So if it breaks higher, great. But if it does not do that and it breaks lower, I already know I'm gonna get stopped out here, and most likely that's where I'm gonna get into my second trade below all those stops and just get in bullish there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so this is a really interesting setup, because you could be wrong on the trade, but then maybe potentially get it cheaper and get back into the trade that you were initially wrong on.
Bingo. Yeah, and so I'm always looking for that plan B of where can I get in back into the trade that I was wrong on. Because if you're going to be wrong, just be wrong fast. That's fine.
Yeah.
And I will attempt to do that 4 times. So I'll be wrong 4 times on the same stock if I'm trying to buy a dip or buy a bounce or get in bullish.
And on the 4th time, you say, I'm just wrong.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to think of a recent example. Under Armour. So I didn't trade Under Armour with all disclosure, but every time I analyzed it, I would say, okay, well, this shouldn't happen. And if this happens, X, Y, Z, so on and so forth. Dude, look at these traps on Under Armour. So you have this gap right here, comes down, fills the gap, and then it bounces. And then it makes a new 52-week high right here, and then it crashes. And then it breaks the dip of this candle where I thought it was going to bounce. I was like, okay, what bounced there once, maybe it'll bounce again. Nope. Trades down, comes to this support. I was like, well, maybe it's going to bounce here. And it went a little bit lower than I liked. Didn't bounce. And then, of course, 3-4 days later, bounced again. And I was just like, dude, I have no idea what Under Armour's doing. So usually after 4 times, I go, okay.
Move on, different stock.
Move on, different stock, and then I just wait for a while. I probably would give it like a week or a month Just let it do whatever it's going to do, and I'll just totally be okay to miss that move.
It's so interesting how you see the little stop, the little points where they take it through those points just to hit the stops, and what you're doing at this point, like in, really the law.
Oh, you still there, Dennis? I think
and you're jumping back in now that they're out, they've shaken out. You're actually going on the other side of it. So, I love, the strategy behind that. Obviously, just being able to jump into something that somebody else is potentially getting stopped out of.
Yeah, man, that's kind of what I'm looking for. Is I'm just looking for a place where something's going to happen, where people are going to get stopped in or stopped out, and then just kind of play it from there.
So Jeremy, I've got a hop, but I just wanted to come was able to come in for a half hour to say hi to everybody here. We'll try to come back in another time as well, but I really enjoyed, coming on with you this week. And obviously, you've been over on our show multiple times, Pre-Market Prep too. We're going to do some stuff together too, Jeremy. So viewers, listen up, and eventually we'll have some stuff for all you guys here too. But love what you're doing over here, Jeremy, and we're going to be a big part of it as well.
Thank you. Appreciate it, my man. Take care.
Okay. Take care, Jeremy.
All right. Awesome.
Take care, everyone. Great trading. Have a good weekend.
Yes.
Jeremy, if you want to know, I'm here. I'm still waiting for a test of the pre-market low.
Good luck.
Yeah. I was out there. We went under 2,700. I had the daily pivot at 96.5. I thought we'd get a little retest there. Nope. And then I decide, okay, I'll wait for the close. But that's just kind of like a good thing. It's like when you pick a level and you want it, and it let the market's telling you something, and it didn't want to go that low. And we've already taken out the pre-market high, which is a good news. That pre-market high was 1175, so I like us staying above that. I don't know if we have any index traders, SPY traders, or SPOO traders here, but man, I don't see 27, 24, 75. That was your December 6 high on the upside here, so I'm keeping an eye on that. Just to update you, I talked to you about a Morgan Stanley short yesterday. I examined my reasons and the technicals for being in the trade on that last night, and I just got flat near the open. It was, I was licking my chops a little bit because there was a Goldman Sachs downgrade to sell, and I'm not sure what firm it was. And during the pre-market, they had it under 42, and that was my bogey. I really wanted to see it break 42, but just kind of threw in the towel on that one for like a scratch. So
it makes sense because Goldman Sachs tanking and Morgan Stanley not. It's like, okay, well, if that's the case, let me just pay.
Yep. And I'm also too much sensitive of a market guy here. And so I'm being, if the market's going down, or going up, if I'm going to be positioned, I'd like to have more longs and shorts here. So that was really the only update on that. We're just kind of dancing here. None of my other stocks have really, come down to my levels yet. So still waiting to pounce.
Gotcha. All right,
I'll
man.
go with the Jeremy trade today.
Thanks for the update. Okay.
Okay.
Sure, man. Sounds good.
All right. I'll check in with you a little bit, Chief.
All right, buddy. Awesome. So ExxonMobil, guys, this one, again, one of my favorite gaps today, just never quite did anything on ExxonMobil. Well, I said it didn't quite do anything. Just did not pull back to the 10 on the 5. It's a retest gap. So that's what I'm waiting for. I'm just waiting for some sort of retest into the 10 on a 3 or 5 minute chart, and it just kept running all day. Some type of retest would have been wonderful. Anything would have been appreciative, but it just didn't happen. Micron Technology did retest. So again, this was a little bit of a small move. Stephen King, Robert Falco, a few people talked about that one. I looked over this one for about 3 minutes yesterday afternoon on ExxonMobil, and it did have a good little move. Gustavo is in on ExxonMobil. Nice, Gustavo. He says, do you think it's going to break the pre-market high? That's a good question. Let me look at the pre-market high. That'll probably be a great spot to take some gains. It just depends on where you got in, obviously. But, yeah, we're right here, right now. We just broke the pre-market high. So I would say, Gustavo, I'm not in this trade personally, but if I were, I would peel off a little bit of a position right here. just a really great spot to take a small gain, whatever that small gain is. You know, small gain and then increase your stop. So congratulations on ExxonMobil. And it does seem that now DEC is going to potentially fade. So there's that final flash through that I was talking about into the 5. So if we turn this particular off, this is the flash on the 5. So this is the spot where she will either bounce, that was the trap, and then continue higher, or roll down. It certainly could fade, right, on DECK. So we can keep a very close eye on that one to see what it does. ZUO doing nothing. Illinois Toolworks was almost a good trade. Almost. Because I was going to look to fade that because I felt it in my bones on Illinois Toolworks. But I'm going to take that off the list. Make space for something else. Facebook's going to be super choppy the rest of the day. So no trade on Facebook for me. Going to keep waiting on that one. I'll take that off the list. And here's CY. Can't find anything there yet. Amazon. So again, Amazon, as far as the spreads, that's probably the best way to play this one is going to be a spread today because it's going to be super, super choppy. So the 1600, 59,750 bull put spread expiring today on Amazon. Probably could have gotten some bear calls. So here's Chevron continuing nicely. Honeywell, HON, just hanging out still. Mike Harvey says U.S. Steel looks like it's fading. So U.S. Steel attempted this one yesterday, didn't work out in my favor. Should have flipped realistically. Meaning gone from bull to bear, or sorry, from bear to bull. But you are correct. It does look a little on the weak side with U.S. Steel. I wonder if that one could be one that I slowly pop into. We will see. Let's keep tabs on this one. Tony Esposito says 0.6 Rs for January. I finally broke the negative month curse. Amazing. Good job, bud. Small gain, but that's wonderful news. Okay. So U.S. Steel, I can put that on the list as just a maybe fade from, kind of yesterday. Amazon, again, Amazon's just going to chop around most of the day, but could be really good for some spreads. Chevron's going to do its thing. MRK. Gustavo says locked in 1.6 Rs on Exxon. Better to have money at hand. Thanks, Jeremy. I'm out for the day. Have a great weekend. You too, buddy. Very good trade. Well done. Congrats on ExxonMobil. And PayPal. So PayPal is retracing and retesting. So it's retesting this retest gap. It had a pretty decent, relatively strong little move today, and it did make a new high from yesterday, and it pulled back. So we'll keep an eye on PayPal for Jason. Kohl's, this is the one that Dennis was talking about earlier. Kohl's looks like it's about to have another low of the day break, believe it or not. And I think Kohl's could be a setup. This is the daily chart. So again, this is just a little bit of a breakdown. It looks kind of weak. I don't mind shorting a retail. Those can be fun. Here's the daily and the weekly. Yeah. So let me pop in here to a 5-minute chart. And let me just look at the pre-market. I don't think there's any kind of pre-market at all on this one. I do want to make sure I'm not chasing the trade. And the way I do that normally is by looking at a trade to see if I could have entered 3 additional times in the past. And with this setup, I only see 1. I mean, that's the inside candle right there. On Kohl's, here's the 5-minute chart. And the stop would be above the 10. It would be a low of the day break. Be shorting at the low of the day. So KSS 66.86, limit sell with a stop loss at 67.30. Going to snag this one. Let's see if this bad boy closes. Because again, it would be on a retest. Let me mention official new day trade. New day trade. And again, it is a little extension, but what we're doing is just shorting off of the huge low of this candle. And the stop is above the 10. We might actually get a good limit sell. I'm putting it in. I might even be able to drag it up because I'm hovering over the entry right now. Let me see if I can adjust that to up to here. Let's see if I can sell it a little bit higher because as soon as it closed, it immediately bounced. All right, I guess let's wait then. Cancel and wait. Give it 2 minutes. Let me watch this one for about 2 minutes because you're going to have a little bit of selling. I'm going to zoom into like a 2 or 3 minute chart just to see. Because again, it just had that immediate, it gapped down and immediately started trading higher. So as soon as you're putting in this trade, like literally typing it in, you get those kind of reversal candles. Yeah, let me just watch this one. I'm going to scoop Kohl's up very high on the list. And I do plan on potentially trading Kohl's bearish. Let's just see what she can do. This is US Steel. And that one, it did break that little support right there. ZUO has been kind of all over the place. So trying to find what that one's going to do is been very difficult. ExxonMobil just flying. And again, there was the flash crash, if you will, on deck. That's just what's bullish retest gaps are just known to do that with these really high flyers. Amazon still solid, and the rest are just hanging out. So let me kind of pop back over to Kohl's and US Steel. Those will be the two that we can watch. So Kohl's, all right. So we got a 1 minute candle, a little bit of a bullish candle on a 1 minute. So this would be 66.90 by 67.50. Okay. All right, let's try this again. Give me about 3 seconds. 2 minute chart looks good. 3 minute chart. So we really just traded right up into the 10 on the 3 and failed. And this is with the 5 minute chart. So we'd be getting in a little bit higher than last time. I kind of think we could still get in higher though. Yeah, I still think it wants to retest right up here, which would be a much, much better entry. Obviously, if you're selling, you want to sell as high as possible because the 10 is a little far away. Yeah, I'll just keep waiting on stalking Kohl's. Kohl's is official to stalk. We're going to watch that one hard. See what she does. CDXS, nothing yet. Visa is just going bananas. PayPal, slowly, quietly trying to bounce. Micron, hell of a bit of retest. Tesla's just on bull surge mode right now. Bull surge on the Tesla. And Sigma also getting a good fade. Symantec hanging out. MRK hanging out. YUMC sideways. Honeywell sideways. Chevron, took some little CVX. So again, Chevron and ExxonMobil is moving together. And then Amazon is perfectly flat. Seymour, I did your spreads today on Amazon, 1,600, 1,597, expiring today. And then it ran up, and I knew you probably were doing a bear call spread at the top of this move as well. So some good moves out there all around, I think. Just some fun to be had. All right, so yeah, Kohl's does look like it's going to try to form a little bit of weakness. Okay. So KSS, 66.86. So now I think it looks just a little bit better now. So the initial entry, 86 by 30. Yep, I think we can reapply for that one. make it 32. And then we'll look at pizza. All right. Resubmit. New official day trade. Yes, now we can get that one in. Now that 5-minute candle is closed. 6686 by 6732 on Kohl's. I'll put that chart in the 5-minute chat pane. Okay. All right. 6686 KSS. 6686 by 6730. So retest gap is the 1st of February. And we'll see if that one does indeed pull back to that 6686 price point. When this little flash was happening, I guess I could have just done it a little bit higher. We would have gotten filled at about 6690 if I just submitted it kind of as was on the market open. And if I do miss that trade, I guess I can live with myself on Kohl's. But just looked a little on the weak side. I think we can leave that open for a moment or two. US Steel did break that little nice cute white candle down. Let me go look at pizza for Alexandra. Ricky says 2 hours, Jeremy. I think it's time for me to go. I've paid for 4 months already. You know how I roll. That bill paying money. Ricky, keep being amazing, man. Go crush it. Papa John's breaking down. Weekly chart into a little bit of a support. So this is going to be an interesting one to see if we actually end up trading this one bullish. You have tons of bearish volume, pretty wild candles. But I do think it's list worthy. Let me throw PZZA on the list. I'll scoot it up. The reason I would even remotely consider trading that one bullish is truly just because of the massive support that we're at. But I don't think there's a moving average or anything down here. Let me go look at a monthly chart just in case. Monthly chart on Papa John's. Nope. In fact, we're actually kind of breaking some down. So going into a 5-minute chart, I can put on the list. It definitely had some crazy movement. Looks like news related. We'll see if we get any kind of play on this one, but just going to give it some time and see what we do. Just going to weigh it out. Slavia, if I'm pronouncing that wrong, I apologize. Any thoughts on Sony? And then I'm going to get to Jonathan's question on AMD. Sony, wow, Sony's down 10%. Okay, so the weekly, trading into the 100 on the weekly, daily, massive bearish candle on Sony. That's one of the biggest candles I've seen on Sony. That is huge town. So my thoughts on that one would be, let's see if we can play that long. That's just such a miraculous sell-off so quickly. This is a tweezer bottom, 45.12, 45.12. Again, you did have that 100 simple on a weekly chart, which is a 45.81. So if it can recover 45.81, that'll probably end up being like a limit buy for me. If we can do something like this. So we can put Sony on the list. I'm fine with that. We've gotten built up a pretty decent list now for the afternoon. And just going to keep a close eye on watching what happens on this. My boy J Money, Jonathan, looking at AMD. Let me type that in correctly this time. AMD. Any thoughts for a breakout or a breakdown? If you're playing AMD today, it's going to be scalper's paradise. Get in and get out for 10 cents every time. It's going to be range bound most likely most of the day. So if you're playing AMD, you're probably going to short a pullback at 24.34, stop at like 24.44, and you're just going to play 10-cent risk every time on AMD. This can be pretty range bound today, I think. Any concern on PayPal? Not yet. I like those candles. Those are some cute candles. Again, this is just a retest, so it's going to take some time. It's going to take a little bit of patience. Let the 20 come up and press that one higher. No massive concern yet. It's been, what, a whole 6 minutes? Kohl's, so again, we got the 66.86 limit sell open. It might not fill, but I will leave that open for a little bit longer. US Steel, it looks like I probably missed US Steel breakdown, but great for whoever shouted that one out. ZUO is just better than I am today. I don't know what this thing is doing, so I'm just going to take it off the list. I can't look at this and understand it. Exxon, what a move. What a move. And again, DEC, I mean, that's just wonderful example, my friends, of a bullish retest gap that's up at all-time highs. You're going to get those crazy flash sales that happen, you know, that really just pull back in, stop everyone out, and then kind of continue. It's very, very classic, especially when you get that extension away from the 10 EMA. So remember, when you're playing a retest gap, because this is a retest gap, all-time high, you're really going to want to use those 10s. And Andrew, I think you played it today exactly like we talked about yesterday, man. So I got to give you a high five. Right? I know it had you sweating. I realize that, but that's, you know, that flash lower, classic, right? Classic. Jackie says, does NFP affect stocks too, or just Forex? What is NFP, Jackie? I actually don't know. NFP. I'm not familiar with that abbreviation. Non-farm payroll. Gotcha. That makes sense. Yes, it'll affect everything. Yep. It'll affect stocks. I mean, that's kind of why we're up on the day. You had good numbers for the most part, and that's absolutely something that's going to have an impact on the markets. You know, when job numbers come out, and you had that initial little bullish pop into here. So yeah, I would say that that's something that absolutely can affect the market. Let me go look at Netflix and see what Netflix is doing, because I do have a bear call spread on Netflix and might likely hop into a bull put spread as well, because it just looks like the trend is pretty gnarly at this point. So I might just go ahead and hop into an Iron Condor on Netflix and maybe even buy some calls, because that trend looks pretty strong on Netflix right now. So what's a 290 going to pay me? 290, 285. So if I do sell vertical 52 cents, so an extra 10 cents for a 290, it's not bad. You got Bob down there with a 255 June put sale. Tara says, can we put Amazon on the list for the afternoon? Easily done. Yes and yes. Super simple. Got it. Thanks for asking, Tara. I appreciate it. By the way, congrats on QTT. Woo! Very nice. Few more. 1,600, 59,750 bull put spread. But that was when you was sleeping in, man. That was hours ago. I'm just messing with you, man. I'm just joking. So HUYA, this one is a swing trade that we did get triggered in on, and also kind of like the Chinese play. So we have JD, which is also down a little bit. So we're getting some retests, some slow pullbacks. BABA, right? BA. So BABA's just hanging off at the 200. One of my favorite very underrated stocks is Tencent Holdings, TCEHY. One of the biggest companies that most people don't know about. Just hanging against the 100 simple on a weekly right now, but long term, you gotta like Tencent. They own pretty much everything in China. It's a little bit of an exaggeration, but they're big. Okay, 5-minute chart on calls. We might not get filled, and that is purely going to be my bad on that one, team, if we miss this trade. I saw it, I set up, and I just let that candle that was happening kind of scare me, I guess. I let that candle freak me out. I'm gonna leave it open, but I don't think we fill on Kohl's. I might have to cancel. James, so check out TME. Yep, so this is Tencent Music. I just like Tencent better than TME. We start doing a bunch of these spinoffs. Sometimes I'm not as big of a fan on the spinoffs, but I mean, as far as the chart, can't argue the chart. I like the chart. I like the pullback, especially if it hits 1366. I'm a fan of that. Big fan of that 1366 pullback area on TME, Mr. Herb. All right, let me go through the list, see if I can find anything. Exxon was a great gap. So glad that Gustavo got a chance to play that one. Really just favorite gap of the day. Sony still kind of waiting for it to make that new high at 45.81. PZZA is still a maybe. This is a decent hammer candle. Because remember, this thing is coming out with news. Obviously, it just tanked. So this would be a super aggressive trade. But I'm not scared. If this candle on like a smaller time frame can close bearish, like maybe a 3 or a 2, you get some more people selling and then it balances. I love this lower low. Love this lower low. So my boy Seymour said on Amazon, he's in a 1675. Yeah, I also like the bear call spread as well. I mean, you can probably have a condor on Amazon. But Seymour's doing a 1675, 1677.50 bear call spread. Sold it for $1.80 and bought it back for 40 cents. Very nice. Nicely done. Nicely done. You'll probably get another shot at another one, man, because again, there's going to be some interesting weakness and some interesting support on Amazon. I do think you're right. It could go a little bit lower, but I do not think it breaks the pre-market low of the day today. Steven says, market is puking a little bit. Yeah, man, let's get in on Kohl's with me. If she's going down, let's get into something that's going down. Still like this EMA. And again, PayPal still is kind of holding a little bit strong at this area, just still chilling. That 20 is kind of slowly creeping up, trying to press a little bit higher. Visa, man, Visa's been strong. CDXS, I can take off the list. I don't think I'm going to trade that one. Don't think I'm going to trade it. I am looking for something else other than Kohl's to set up and to be in. Let me know your next spread that you get in, Seymour, and we can play that one together. Option expiration Friday, man. You gotta love it. Let me look it down here on Amazon for, what do we got? Are you doing this Friday's expiration or next Friday? You're going to go 1 week out? Okay, so you're going to go February 8th. All right, February 8th. 1600, 1597.50. That could be fun. That's doing about 30 cents and 67 cents. You're going to do the same one. Okay. So same one is 1675. That's next week, huh? 1675, 167.50. Let me look at this. Sell vertical. So it has about an 85-cent spread in it right now. What's your limit going to be on that one? $1.10? Okay. Yep, set up that limit. Can do. Because yeah, I think you're right. A little bit of selling could get a little bit of a bounce. Chevron retesting Honeywell. That's an interesting little candle in Honeywell. I like that new low right there. That's kind of cool. Possible bullish trade. Yum China holding and Kohl's. Did anyone not chicken out on Coles on that retest. What a beautiful low of the day fail. By the way, that's $500 right there if you have a $500 R. The news says, can you please explain the Amazon setup? Call sale at 1677 and buy at 1655. No. So this is a bear call spread. 1675 call sale. 1677.50 call buy. Expiring next Friday. $1.10 limit sell. Buy to close 40 cents. That is the plan on that particular trade. That's the goal, at least. Petre says, what do you think about USAT? USAT? Good question. Looks nice on the 5-minute. I think I looked at this. I believe I looked at this. Thought I looked at this on like Tuesday or something. It looks good, man. I like this a lot for a swing trade. Looks very pretty. Earnings, I believe, is right around the corner, so just be cognizant of that. Keep that in mind. But it looks nice, man. Nice trend with earnings coming up. We'll see what she does. Ricky says, have a great weekend, team. It's 2 a.m. here. Time to hit the sack. I hope to see all the new people again soon. Yeah. RN says, Jeremy, do you have a swing trade in Square? I'm already in Square, RN, so the answer to that question is yes. I have shares with a $7 covered call expiring today. Most likely, I'll be buying that covered call back at the tail end of the day, probably for break even or a really, really small loss. Won't be that tragic either way. And I'll turn around and sell another one. But Square is just one of those stocks that I love long-term, RN, and I will be playing as frequently as I can. Hope that helps. But I did, when I was chatting with Mr. Dennis, I was talking about the swing trade on Square that I would set up. So I don't know if you got a chance to catch that or not. That was about 10 minutes ago. Jay Linder says, what are your thoughts on First Solar? First Solar, my thoughts on this one is look for a bigger pullback into about 47.5 to buy the dip. Big double bottom on a weekly chart. You ran into tons of long-term moving averages on the weekly. This is one that we looked at on Wednesday, which was Energy Wednesday. The double bottom is pretty apparent on a weekly chart. Most stocks, it is kind of there. So I would just simply say if it closes, trades down at 46 and hits 46, that will be the spot to be bullish. And if it gaps above the high of this week on earnings at some point, strong bullish move on First Solar. As far as a day trade's concerns, it's a nice little sell-off, and let it trade sideways a little bit longer before, if you're going to short it, it's like most of the move has already happened. Again, team, what's exciting on Kohl's, again, just keep this in mind. If you did get a chance to set that up at 66.86 or around there on that first setup, I'm going to leave this open just in case it retests at some point. I won't leave it open a massively long period of time. Very nice high wave candle on the 15-minute chart. Nice little roll down. And some weakness. Looks good. See if we can retest and give it to us again. U.S. Steel hanging out. ExxonMobil hanging out. Sony's at 45.81. Okay. This is good. So far, following Mr. Squiggles pretty much perfectly. PayPal, just slow consolidation, hanging out. Visa. I mean, I missed Visa, so I'm just going to take it off the list. No need to even look at it. If anyone's in that one, let me know. I mean, happy to check it out for you. Micron, moving well. A little bit of a good bullish pop today. Got the $46 covered call for April. I know April's forever away. I really don't mind owning some shit, getting called away at 46 though. If that happens, I can live with myself. That would be a good escape on that trade. NVIDIA is up 1.15%, so it gapped down and slowly creeping back up. Eventbrite, ticker symbol EV, flat sideways, doing absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. GoDaddy is working on retesting. So GDDY had a nice little pop yesterday, kind of a retest today to some degree. Salesforce, ticker symbol CRM, making higher highs. And there's Kohl's with the new low. Beautiful move on Kohl's. Very well done. If anyone got a chance to catch that, sensational play. So again, with a $200 R or more, that is that one trade like this. You find one trade just like this, and that is Bill Payne. Andrew is loving it. So Andrew Roylick is in on Kohl's. The target on this one, my man, would just be 2 times the risk. 2 times the risk. That's normally where I will get out of a position. So the entry stop loss is here. 2 times the risk is a ways from now. 65.95. You got some room. So here's what I would do on Kohl's. This is just me personally. You don't have to do this, Andrew. Totally your call. I would take off 1/10 of your position here. So if you're in short, however many shares you're shorted, obviously that's totally up to you per your plan. With a $500 risk on this particular trade, you're shorting a decent amount of shares. About 1,136. So if you're 1,136 shares, you would take off, 110 and then lower the stop. So take off a small position and then take the stop down, pretty much just put it halfway and kind of lower it a little bit. And the hardest part usually is holding through a retracement. So if this happens on Kohl's, I know it's going to be painful, but just going to try to have to hold that and build that muscle. Cool deal. Okay, I'll keep an eye on that one. Obviously, let's see. James asks, is that a golden cross on First Solar? The 50 and the 200-day EMA. Probably. 50 is at 46.27, and the 200. No, not yet. So the 200 SMA on my chart is 52.10, and the 50 EMA on my chart is 46.27. So it hasn't happened yet. We can go look at the weekly chart. Weekly chart, the 50 is at 50.51, and the 200 simple is at 50.24. So yeah, they're pretty much right on top of each other. That most likely is what you're looking at. RM says, I've been playing with 3-minute candles on all charts since I asked you about them a couple of days ago. Nice compromise between the 1 and the 5. No duh, right? Yeah, I mean, it was funny when you asked, but you're exactly right. I mean, the 5 can be a little too slow sometimes. Not necessarily, but it's like, yeah, you can get some, you lose some, take some away, whatever. But then the 1 minute, you're right. The 1 minute can be a lot of information, a lot of data, a lot of charts flying your way. So yeah, it's good compromise. Very Goldilocks approach. So thanks for letting me know that, RM. I appreciate that tremendously. And there's a little bit of a pop on PayPal. Nice. Up at 90.08. So Jason, few of the traders are in on this one with that pullback to 89.78. So again, on PayPal, I wouldn't move the stop massively far, but after that little move, I would move it. So I'd probably take it and just scoot it up a nominal amount. It is a bullish trade. 10-cent stop move on PayPal for anyone who's in that one, and to see if it can make a new high. Give it a little bit of time, but the 10 on the 15 does look kind of cute. Let me hop back over to pizza. Let me just see what pizza's doing. So it never got that bearish candle close. So still waiting on maybe a pizza long, maybe. And look at Mr. Squiggles on Sony, ladies and gentlemen. James says, Jeremy, do you use VWAP on your charts? I know many people do. I'm not a VWAP specialist, James. I will admit that. I'm okay. I use it more or less just to see where it's at. Make sure I'm not shorting right at VWAP. The gentleman who is coming on the microphone in 45 minutes, however, is a very good day trader using the VWAP, and he'll be happy to answer any kind of questions about that. But great, very valid question. While we're in a little bit of a pause and a holding period, does anyone have any questions about the membership sign up? Is everyone comfortable with how it works? Does anyone need any help? Needing assistance? Does anyone have any questions for me? Charles says, what happened to Snap? I'm not going to buy it, but it's above the 100 SMA. I never thought I would see that. I got a little bit of an upgrade from a small little exchange. Mike says, how does the sign up work? Can I get a recap, please? Sure. So here's the link. I'll put it in the chat pane. I will show you where you can sign up for it, just in case you don't know where to go. Just go to reallifetrading.com, and it'll be on the very front page, this little link. You can click that link. And when you click that link, it'll take you to this particular page. Jackie says, was wondering if there was a lifetime membership option. That's a phenomenal question. There's not one right now, but this is the market. If you can make me a deal, let me know. We can talk about it. But I don't have anything at the present moment. But I appreciate you even considering that. So Mike, the sign up process, once you go to this particular page and scroll down, you can just select whichever program monetarily suits you best. If you want to go the monthly, most people are going to sign up for the 4 months. So I do 4 months, let's knock it out. Let's put in 4 months worth of work together and kind of go from there. And then the other people will sign up for the 189, and you'll probably have a few that'll do the 1995. But as far as the program is concerned, next week starts hedging with options. This starts Monday. So next Monday night, hedging with options starts. It's a 5-class program where I discuss collar strategies, protective puts, covered calls, when to get into a protective put, when to sell a covered call, when to unravel a covered call, the dynamic collar, adding a bear put spread to a trade to decrease the cost of insurance. Really, really intense stuff on hedging with options. And then, of course, anyone who signs up also gets access to the algo program that we're launching in March, where we show you how to build your own trading robot. And not only that, but you're going to get access to the weekly options newsletter, the morning day trading room, which we're in now, and the afternoon swing trading room. Again, you take that trade on Kohl's today and you already pay for all of that. Easy. Simple. So that is it. Joanne says, is there a commitment at the year to a 189 price? Very valid question, but no, ma'am, there's no commitment to a year. That's just a monthly reoccurring price. So if you're like, hey, let me try it out for a month or two, and you want to do a month or two, cool. And if you want to, terminate the cancellation or the membership, and just email, let me know. Ruby says, when does the algo trading start? That's going to be in May, probably not May, I apologize, March. That'll be mid-March. James says, okay. Christine says, if I signed up for the morning room trading room last week, can I have it readjusted to the promo? Yes. Yep. We're going to get you readjusted, Christine. That's automatically going to happen. Now, no other company in the entire world will do that, I don't think, but we will. So you signed up for a more expensive product. And again, I would just say thank you for that, by the way. I appreciate it. But yes, we're going to actually give you everything that's in the promo for a lesser price than you're paying already right now. It's going to be pretty cool. Kathy answered your question. Aaron answered your question. Frank says, got permission to sign up for a month. Married folks will understand. And if I can get 5 hours, I will continue. All right, Frank, that's fair. I can respect that. Greg says, teach me to build a robot that fetches my beer for me. Dude, me and you need to figure that out. I am with you. Jay says, I like your policy. You demand. Thanks, Jay. I appreciate that. And again, we do have all of the week recorded on YouTube. You guys know that, right? Type in a 6 if you did not know that. If you didn't know that, it's okay. I will pull it up. I'll send you the link. But this entire week, I've been recording it. So there's already 17 hours of this entire week's videos on the released trading room playlist right here. So if you are live really diligent from Music City, Nashville, Tennessee, this is your, all right, so here you go. Graham says how to get the log to Slack. We're going to be sending that out today, Graham. So we're just letting everyone sign up first, and then we're going to be emailing out individually the links to Slack. So yeah, I know you signed up yesterday. So again, I appreciate that, my friend, immensely. So we will be setting all that up and getting all those emails sent out and all that kind of good stuff. So it should be pretty easy. PayPal. So Elaine and Jason, I think, are in PayPal. So again, on PayPal, you are correct, Jason. The fact that it didn't hold 90 is not an immensely amazing sign. But again, we haven't really hit the 20 yet. So I think let that 20 EMA on a 5 minute just slowly keep creeping up on PayPal. I know you trade options, so it's a little bit different with an option than shares. I can respect that, but I think that 20 is at 89.72 will be a decent little press higher for a bull move. Charles, new links to the room starting next week. Yes, that is correct. Brand new links. Those will be sent out this weekend, pretty much tomorrow. Jay says, if I sign up for a month at the discount price, will I get the next month at the discount price? Yep. So that's a very good question, Jay. But I mean, that is the price forever. So you're going to get locked into that particular price. It's a very good question. A lot of trading companies and other programs will offer a promo and then they'll bump it up the next month. This is just your cost. Tax, tag, title, out the door. But that is I should have addressed that, but wonderful thought. Great question. Yes. Yep, that is it. So it's just $189. You get that. And Monday morning, I believe that's going to go up to $395 on Monday morning. This will increase to that amount. Just like a stock price. It's an overnight dip. It's a week-long dip. RN. So I was also looking at Sony. I'm keeping a very close eye on Sony. I agree. It's just a big, big sell-off, but I need it to make some higher highs. I need it to make a little bit higher of a move. So I'm just going to wait that one out and just kind of letting it do its thing. So we'll see. Figure out what's going to happen on Sony. But again, the 100 simple on the weekly is right around here. So I'm just going to kind of keep an eye on this one to figure out what's going to happen. Okay. So Kohl's, I'll delete this. So again, this is the retest on Kohl's, this little bearish candle. This is a 5 minute chart. So the 5-minute chart came up and retested. So we were talking about exiting 10% of that position. So if you are in Kohl's, this is how I would trail the stop, is I would now put it above the high of that upper shadow. So this would allow you to lock in some gains. It really shouldn't take out this candle. I mean, it certainly could, but it shouldn't. And that would be a 66.75 stop loss on Kohl's. But again, when you get a move like that that trades down to about an R really, really quickly, Arthur, that's what I was kind of mentioning. You probably want to take some profit off the table so that you can, just buy into that, that weakness that's occurring when the stock is pulling back in. You want to just pull off some of those gains. Frank says, do you know if Real Life Trading members are writing the memberships off? Yes, I know many who are. I have a few who have LLCs and trading companies that are established. And if you have a trading company that's established as an LLC, obviously, then you have the ability to write off the memberships, your data, trading room costs, anything and everything purchased can write it off. Thomas Osborne says, I know I do. So there you go, Frank. Graham says, so if I'm wanting to pay for 4 months after this month, I will still be able to get it at the discounted price as the set price now. Yes, because that's because you signed up, Graham, already. Right? So since you signed up, because you're in, right? You're in to win. You do this month, let's say, okay, cool. Next month, you want to sign up for this price? Yes, because you're already locking yourself into the membership price. So very valid question, but that is correct. Robert Falco also says check with your CPA. That is correct. I was going to mention that. But make sure to check with your CPA, folks. I'm not an accounting specialist. I don't claim to be an accounting specialist. There are obviously people from all around the world on this webinar right now. So just verify with your local laws, the tax constraints, all that stuff. Just verify, because it should, but it might not have to. Charles Wade says, after a free week, I decided to sign up for 3 months. That was in November 2016. Jeremy will have to kick me out to get rid of me. Don't worry about that, my friend. I can't kick you out. You are too amazing of a human. So don't you sweat it. Me and you and me. Joanne says, awesome. I'm in for the next 4 months. Woo-wee. Me and Joe rocking it out. I love it. Thank you, Joanne. I appreciate that, by the way. Really excited to trade with you, talk to you about the markets. I know you and I have chatted on the phone and had a webinar before, so it's been a great thing to have you here today to speak. So thanks, Joanne. Deck, Andrew, very great trade. Where's your stop now? I think at this point, with that flash that came into the 10 right here, I don't think there's any reason not to have your stop, Andrew, right here at 142.57. That's just me personally, because you had that second little flash down. Great trade. So Deck just slowly kept grinding lower like we thought it would. Beautiful trade, Andrew. Remember, folks, just keep this in mind. You don't have to trade everything that we're looking at. My goal is to just kind of direct some people into a specific thing as far as what it is that you could look at, what you might want to consider, what you might want to think about. You find a gap that you like, and you play it how you see fit. You might not have to take the things that I trade. If you don't, that's absolutely fine. You're not going to offend me at all. No issues, no worries, no qualms whatsoever. Just simply keep in mind that the goal is for, instead of giving you fish, teaching you how to fish, right? Same exact example, same metaphor as usual. Want to make sure that each and every one of us here is very sufficient in finding their own trades, really mastering the patterns, and playing it appropriately. My boy Thomas says, will Facebook break the low of the day? You know, I can put that on the watch list and keep an eye on it. I'd kind of like to go bullish. on Facebook at that support. Falco is fading Exxon. Oh, man. What a beautiful chart, Falcos. Oh, that is very pretty. Thanks for sharing that, my friend. I'm not in a fade on ExxonMobil, but I can see exactly why you're in it. Right? It made that new pre-market high. Ladies and gentlemen, type in a 3 if you can see where all of the beginner traders bought ExxonMobil. Muhammad says, I signed up. Thanks for all you do, Jeremy. Muhammad, my pleasure, man. Thank you for helping us enrich lives and for being a part of the team. So the question was, type in a 3 if you see where all the newbies bought. You probably don't believe this, but there's a lot of people who bought right there. No, I'm not saying that they're bad or that they're not good traders or whatever the case is. It obviously could have run from there. But here's what I can say specifically. On a bullish retest gap, do not take high of day breakouts. So maybe high of day or pre-market high, just don't do that. That's just not smart. Buy the dip if that happens, right? So if you want to get in and you want to take a breakout, cool, but at least buy that retest, right? Don't buy the breakout because obviously, as you all know, I missed this trade, unfortunately. If this candle right here would have made a little bit of a lower low, I would have gotten in on ExxonMobil because that would have given me a signal that people are trapped. If you're like, hey, Newsom, why'd you miss that trade? It just didn't hit the 10 EMA on the 5. You all know my plan for bullish retest gaps. Gap up, trade down to the 10 on the 5, buy the dip. And it didn't quite get there. Not only did it not get there on the 5, it didn't get there on the 3. But remember, there are some traders who can play things differently than I do. You don't have to trade exactly the way I'm trading. You just have to have an idea of what it is that you're trading, why is it you like it, so on and so forth, and kind of play it accordingly. Cole's retesting that level and failing, which is beautiful. It's exactly what you want. Andre, that is exactly the look that you want. Danny says, if an option has a spread of 40 cents, is that better for option sellers? Yes. Yes, it is. U.S. Steel does look a little bit weak right here. What time is it? 10:32. I wonder if some buying can come in right there. Just a little bit of buying. I'd like to get that R back from yesterday. Bearish stop limit. Let's see. I have to wait for this candle to close, but if I can get just a little bit of buying, some kind of bullish candle, maybe we could sink our teeth into a little bit of a rollover on Exxon. Again, keeping a close eye on Sony. It's following Mr. Squiggles perfectly at this point. Seymour, I have not got filled at 110 yet on Amazon. Yep. I am still waiting. But that's the thing with spreads, man. With limit sales, some people get filled, some people don't. If you did, that's awesome. I'll leave it open, though. I will leave it open. See what it can do. This little move looks like it could happen, but are you afraid of a bull put? I'll do a bull put too, Seymour, man. This thing's going to chop all day, bud. It's going to chop all day long. Mark said, you got a vendetta on that R. I want that R. Seymour says, will that make it an iron condor? Yep. And the cool part is, you want to know this one? Check this out, Seymour. There's no additional margin if you do an iron condor. No additional margin. How crazy is that? So weird. Andrew says, which platform do you use or prefer? The two that I use and most traders here use are Thinkorswim and Interactive Brokers. I prefer Interactive Brokers, but I have much more experience with Thinkorswim. I have pretty good rates with TD Ameritrade. Interactive Brokers is less expensive. I realize that. They have some pros. Every broker has pros and cons. But those are the two. James says, so do you still a bullpit spread for a credit on Amazon? Yep, that was what I was talking about very early this morning. Right after it was breaking above the high was a 1597.5 expiring today. So that was a really beautiful one. Again, expiring today, that had 45 cents of limit of credit in there on Amazon. So pretty cool. But again, 1600. I mean, James, I love doing these on Fridays, especially options expiration, because on volatile stocks like Google, right? So Google, Amazon, Apple, sometimes the SPY, if it's gapping nicely, Tesla, if you can get a really good play for it. So yes, I'm a fan of the credit spreads, especially if they're expiring on Friday, because if you get a general idea of where a stock is not going to go, you know what I'm saying? It's like if you have a general idea, you're like, I think it's not going to go here, then you should be good. Seymour got $1,400 already today on Amazon, so his $189 is done for the day. On a 250 margin, I usually do 10 contracts. It's 2,500. My contracts default to 10, and yeah, so it automatically just defaults to 10. Okay, back over to Coles. So again, this chat pane is on fire, and I appreciate everyone making their chats. Thank you. For anyone who's in the Coles trade, the 66.75. That's just where the stop needs to be. I mean, it doesn't really need to be much better than that. And U.S. Steel, interesting. Okay, so we did get a buying candle that came in. Is this going to be a rollover that will be nice, or is it too aggressive? Falco says, you can change your default. Oh, yeah, I know. Oh, yeah. Easy. Seymour says, but I don't feel like going higher. Oh, on 10, yes. I mean, 10's good. So U.S. Steel. I think I'm trying to maybe make something that's not there. It's not a horrifically terrible setup. Nah, I'm just going to wait. I need to look for greatness. Speaking of greatness, Mr. Blake Anderson is coming on the mic in 20 minutes. So if you have any questions for me, let me know. Keep me posted. Hit me up. ExxonMobil. Somebody was asking about the hourly chart. I forget who that was, and I apologize for missing that. I do look at the hourly, but mostly for swings. Every now and then, if I'm really thirsty, I'll look at it for an option trade, but not an option trade, I'm sorry, a day trade, kind of just trying to find out the support resistance. I mean, that's a very nice fade on ExxonMobil, Falco. Proud of you, bud. Getting a fade on SPY. It looks like Sony's just not going to bounce. So Sony not bouncing, at least not yet. Honeywell, we'll see. Probably not going to do anything today on Honeywell. The ZA, Pete ZA. That was a stupid joke. Hanging out. Charles says, on Cron, would you throw a fib and tell me where to put my puke order? I think it's time to take profits. Okay, I can do that. Definitely time to take profits on Cron. Puke order, let me do the 4-hour chart just to really mess with my brain. All right. I think the main move started here. This is really when it got going. And it hasn't had a low yet. It looks like a wave 4. So this is a wave 5. Puke orders, 1583. Seymour says, I have a friend that's trying to do verticals, but they say he has to have a margin account because it's selling. So my question is, if you buy verticals, then you can do that in a cash account. Yes, you can buy verticals, but they have to be debit spreads, Seymour. I think you're familiar with debit spreads, right? So, okay, cool. So yeah, you can do debit spreads in a cash account, but you can't do credit spreads in a cash account because you do need margin. Yep, you're absolutely right. You do need some margin. So correct, he will not get the credit. Yep. The credit won't happen. He'll just have to literally buy the spread and sell the spread. So like buy it initially and then sell it to close. Right? He can't sell it to open. Charles at 1579. Thanks. My pleasure, bud. Sure thing. CY was a very good gap, but it hit a target super early in the morning and has been trading sideways since then. So CY is hanging out, not doing much at all. And speaking of not doing much, PayPal is not doing much either. It did interact with the 20. So it's here, and this is a tweezer bottom at 89.64 on PayPal. Let me look at the 10 on the 15. So the 10 on the 15 is 89.59. So you're going to want it to interact with that before bailing if you're in bullish on PayPal. Facebook, again, at low of the day, it did actually bounce bullish. That's what I was discussing probably 10 minutes ago. I didn't think it was going to take the low of the day. It just looked like a long buy low, sell high, right? Trade right into support and then bounce. It looks pretty. That was a nice little move. Let's see, Micron, took someone MU, hanging out. Tesla, still a little bullish, but sideways for the most part. Gore just moved this morning. I mean, again, this would have been another one. As far as credit spread traders go, you've got to love trades like Tesla. I mean, you could have sold, when it was trading down to that support, Tesla option, the 300 option on Tesla, you could have sold this morning for a decent chunk of change when it was at 305. So the 300 option at one point today was up there around $4 or $5 for next week. Obviously, the one expiring this week is a little bit weaker. Richard says, bounce off the VWAP. It did. It was a nice little VWAP bounce. Square still hanging out. And Kohl's. So KSS, again, this is one of those situations where if you get trailed out on a position, it's okay, right? You never know the exact bottom of a stock. You would like to. Very rarely happens. But in a situation like this, with the trade, the way it works and the way it moves, so mad I didn't sell CVS yesterday. Brutal. Brute City. Brute Magoo. All right. So it hasn't hit 66.75 yet, but it very well might. Andrew says, trading is like trying to slap a mosquito. You got to let it land, and then you slap it. That's pretty much it. Yep. You are correct. All right. So Sony. Here goes a possibility on Sony. The only thing I'm not a fan of, because again, right now it's following the Mr. Squiggles perfectly. Is there a put sale on Sony expiring today? Ooh. Not really. Potential inverted head and shoulders again. The stock is down 10%. David says 2.5 hour day. I may shut it down. David, I might kick you out. How about that? Up 2.5 hours on the day, man. Lock it in. Move on, and I'll see you on Monday. Get out of here, buddy. That's a good trade. All right, so SNE. I would say maybe something like this, but that's going to be a super aggressive trade. There's no way we can lose less than an R with a trade like that. So I might lower it. Again, not an official trade. What do I need to see to make it official? I need to let this candle close. Because again, 45.81 is the 100 simple on a weekly. I'd really like to be above there if it helps. David says, I bought the VLO dips and Kohl's. Wow, you went bullish on Kohl's. Brave man. Glad it worked out. But they did dip. So you can see the opposite sides of everyone's trades, right? Everyone has the different trades. Everyone's going to have like that just different approach in the market, what they're looking for, what they see, what they want to see. Honeywell, I'm just going to take off the list. I don't see anything great about it today. Albert says Sony with a moving average blue right above it wouldn't be less than 2 Rs. That is correct. But my goal would be obviously for it to break above the blue line. But you're right. I mean, that's without question, that's not even 2 Rs yet. That's not even actually a full R. When you're fading a trade, so when you're going the opposite direction, Albert, you're always going to have moving averages that are going to argue with you. That's just the nature of the beast. So you're always going to have some moving average that says no on some time frame. That's why fades are a little bit more challenging, no question. The only reason I'm trying to even play Sony bullish, anyone who's wondering, is because it made a new low. I like when they make new lows like that. You are pulling into some daily support over here. It's down 10% on the day. And for a daily candle, this is the biggest bearish daily candle that Sony's had in the last few years. So I'm just trying to think, is there more selling going to come in, or are people going to take an advantage of a buying opportunity? In Facebook, just more or less channeling, hanging out. Micron, not doing much. Tesla, very sideways presently. Cigna, maybe. Symantec, we'll see. MRK, waiting on, not what I'm waiting on. I'm probably going to take that off the list. Yum China, not doing anything. Chevron, slowly grinding higher. Amazon, popping and locking and dropping. Seymour says, Jeremy, I took another trade at Amazon and lowered the price to $1 credit and got filled again. Not suggesting that, but just a thought. Right on, man. Thanks for letting me know. So I do like a little short, again, a little small little pullback. And at this particular point, if you're doing a, next Friday, if you're doing these this credit spread, 1670, 1665 and 1667.50. At this point, you're going to try to buy it back and put that debit as low as possible to try to purchase it back for less than you bought it for. That is the goal. So Amazon, just chopping sideways most of the day. That's what we thought it would do, and it's doing it. CY, very sideways. Deck, ooh, nice move, Andrew. Nice move. So DECK, as mentioned, is slowly grinding higher for the rest of the day, probably, until something happens to it. Kohl's still hasn't hit that 66.75. And go back to Sony. Just doesn't look like it's going to happen. Carity says, Amazon credit spread you showed, question mark. Yes? Is that, I don't know what that, are you asking what is the credit spread? Which one is it? We have two. This one's next Friday, but again, we're going to do our best to get out of it today. That's the goal. And you have this one that is expiring today, which will expire worthless. 1,600, that is 52 points away. That's huge. Huge town. So again, I kind of like a bull and a bear call if you're playing Amazon. I like both sides on this one. If you're doing a credit spread, again, any credit spread, I would suggest, if it's a super tight one, not holding overnight. So yeah, I would get out the same day on Amazon because Amazon is a wild little monster. This one's going to be fine because it will expire worthless today. So that one really shouldn't intrigue a problem. And then Google, I mean, Google is going to be another example next week on earnings. When this thing gaps, you'll be able to do earning, the credit spread trades on Google as well. That one is a fun little mover. Here's the SPY. And we're just slowly creeping higher. So the SPY slowly creeping higher. Netflix, nice looking candle. Texas Instruments, ticker symbol TXN. Texas Instruments is hanging out. BWA. So BWA, making a little bit of a higher move. Happy to see BWA and Netflix up for you. RMs is probably a risky topic. Can someone tell me how Tesla keeps getting a bid? Those cars, man. Sexy. Electric, you might even say. Those curves. All those curves with no brakes. It is impressive how it slowly keeps climbing higher, man. The things that Elon Musk can do. It's incredible. All right, so Kohl's, again, if you were trailing the stop on that, it really, that's a good trail out. That's why you do an exit some position on a partial if you just get a giant sell-off like that. A really, really fast move with a nice lower shadow. So I think we can take Kohl's off the list. But again, wonderful little trade approach there. ExxonMobil trying to bounce off the 20. Sony still just not doing much. Pizza. So this is Papa John's. Again, it made its move on news. I'm assuming. This could be a short or a long. This is one of those really interesting spots. I don't know. I'm going to keep waiting on pizza. It's kind of like Sony. It's like I'm waiting for someone to get traps. Sony, maybe. Might be a long play during the day. Over to PayPal. So Jason's asking about PayPal again. So at this particular point on PayPal, go ahead and you would consider increasing your stop to the low of this candle that just got put in. So if it takes out the low of this candle, more or less, it's hitting the VWAP. That's the 10 EMA under 15. If it's going to bounce, that's where. If it doesn't, that's okay. But if it takes out that low, you probably don't want to be in on PayPal. Again, really good buy spot and exceptional risk reward. McDonald's back down to a support. I played McDonald's yesterday poorly, but still won on it. Man, just could have won a little bit more. Not a bad looking move on McDonald's. I'm kind of looking for maybe a bounce at some point. Just waiting this one out, I guess. Waiting this one out. So McDonald's just chilling. I was kind of looking to see if I was going to be a bounce play. Facebook is super sideways. This is just a little bit of a range bound, hanging out, not much going on. PayPal, there's a little bit of a small bounce, Micron, Tesla, Cigna. Again, great job being patient, by the way, team, as well. It's all about patience. Didn't have many people losing today, and if you did lose, you lost very small. Chevron and Exxon were the two really nice ones, and Amazon is just chilling right now. CY hanging out, doing its thing. So again, this one hit the 200, that red line on the screen, that purple line is the 200 simple moving average. David says weak, CYH. CYH, Community Health Systems. Yep, a little bit of weakness on this one. What you're looking at, Children's Place, is that PLC? Children's Place. A little bit of a weaker retail today, down 4%. Yep, some weakness there as well. Andrew says, are they taking profit on McDonald's? It looks like it. It looks like it. Kind of an inside day candle right now. So McDonald's is an inside candle. This is a profit taking for the bears intraday. Yes, I was actually looking at going long on it. Tim says, is the retest on Bank of America attractive at all? Bank of America. BAC, Bank of America. Kind of. I mean, I would like a little bit more of a retest. The more the merrier. But on the 5-minute chart, not really. No. Arabia says, what was the question? Can you do credit spreads and TOS without margin? No, you do need margin. Yep, great question. Robert Falco says, trailed out of ExxonMobil for 0.35 Rs. Glad I took a partial. Yeah, man, what a bounce on Exxon. Congrats on that partial. That was a wise plan. Sony does not look like it's going to bounce anytime soon. Neither does Papa John's. What I'm trying to figure out is if I'm going to short Papa John's or if I'm going to go long Papa John's. Do I go short or do I go long? It does look weak. I'm not going to deny that. Bullish candle, February 1st. So if I did a trade just like this, it'd be very hard to lose less than an R, which I would certainly want to do on a day like today if I take a trade. I might just wait to see what Blake trades. Blake is a beast. Seymour says, what's the ticker? Papa John's, PZZA. Paco says, Blake's on a roll today. Yeah, man. When he gets hot, he gets hot. There's Blake. I forgot to upgrade you, Blake. My bad. You're always VIP on my heart, buddy. Let me upgrade the Blake. That's what he's known around here. We just call him the Blake. What's up, buddy?
Not too much. Just loving the entertainment from the legendary Newsom.